And 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Randy's on board for a Friday afternoon show that will take you into the weekend here. The market still, as the guys were saying there, chopping around at day lows. Some debt ceiling speak coming through, talking from the White House anyways. They're saying they're very concerned, latest comments anyway, saying they're very concerned about a debt default as we grow or move very, very close to this deadline that's coming up. Remember, essentially the beginning of June, Janet Yellen was saying there's going to be an issue with this debt issue. Hey, Sean's at the big desk now as well. It's a good afternoon when all the guys are hanging out at the desk. Randy,
how's it going, Brendan? Is my mic on?
What coffee is that? Oh, okay.
Did we get the almond milk in yet?
We did actually. No, we did.
We did?
Yeah, breaking news.
What? Since when? I just got almond milk in my Tim Hortons
There's
coffee
almond milk in the kitchen now, as of about lunchtime this afternoon. So
I'm standing over here because I don't want to get out of my short. So
probably a good idea.
All right, I'm going back to the desk. See you guys.
Friday. Here's a look at how the overall market is shaping up right now. 0.71 for the S&P, about 0.5%. For the Dow, full percent right now. For the NASDAQ, as we said, basically at session lows currently. Crude downside 2.5 for Bitcoin, Ethereum 1.3% in negative territory. Pretty red board here as far as the S&P is concerned. Outside of, wow, First Solar, FSLR having quite the day, 23.5% to the upside. Everything else pretty ugly right now. It is banks that are leading to the downside. PayPal topping off a pretty bad week coming off earnings with another 3.5%. To the downside. Insurance names, banks, individual banks, all under pressure. GEN reported this morning down about 7% so far today. CCL, NCLH, RCL, all of the cruise lines, all of the travel names under significant pressure. Consumer durables, consumer discretionary names getting hit. Industrials, healthcare, material stocks, all downside as well. Communication services, utilities, and energy stocks, meanwhile, holding on to a slight gain. That's the way we head into the final couple hours of what has been a pretty important, pretty exciting week for the overall market, coming off more inflation data earlier in the week that pointed to everything moving in the right direction as far as, down finally as far as inflation is concerned. Keep my eye on this GSIT. Just took out the high and then completely fell apart. So we're back to 384 even there for GSIT. I also confirmed, guys, that the gains, I'm going to sound like such a downer right now, but the gains that we had going into today for the S&P 500, all gone. So all three U.S. markets now in the week back in the red as well, unfortunately.
You know, if you don't say it, then it's like it didn't happen. Like you
Wow,
could just,
Brendan.
if we just pretend that this day is not really red, although the NASDAQ is not down yet 1%. So it's not like, it's not really all doom and gloom.
You better get down there.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that can still go on. Obviously, the market isn't having a great day. You can sort of, if you haven't discerned that one, I know, like the bulls.
Those bulls out of
Well,
here.
in fairness, we weren't even, we had some other things we had to do, some interviews, which could be interesting coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the bulls have not
hiring.
We're hiring, but the bulls have been they're not doing their job today, quite frankly. You know, they've been fighting it and they've been losing it. I've done my fair share. I can't believe I'm out of AMD. I'm not even in it anymore. Google's hanging on by a thread at this particular moment. The shorts are really good, and it's like I don't even have any left at this particular point. The market keeps trying to make a bottom and not really doing so. So this is like the last thing standing for me, the one level that's been okay long on Google. But you look at AMD, it's still trending to the downside. I did miss this curl. Actually, quite frankly, I wasn't sitting down when it happened, so that one's going to be on me. Got to be at your station to make trades. It's a weird thing, but it's true. And this is not
leave orders in.
Well, you can leave orders in, but here's the thing. Remember that order, that stop order that we had, the new stop order that we were using, which would allow us to be a little bit more nimble. I actually felt pretty good when I had the new stop against positions because I could have multiple orders to get into position, and then I could have that stop order adjusting automatically based on the amount of shares that you have. But it's a little different leaving a hard stop for a set amount of shares and then having take profits and having an order to get in. It's a little different. I don't like doing that anymore because that other stop order is having some bugs. And when we get it back, I think it'll be great. I'm taking some profit on Alphabet in front of 117 because every little bit helps when you're fighting the long, and any bounce is a decent bounce here so far. And I'm drinking coffee in the afternoon. Don't usually do that.
Yeah, now you just need an apple fritter to go along with that. There we go. So we actually did stay true, and that's why I made Sharif tell everybody that we are true to the short rate now. So we actually shorted quite a lot of shares there in the SQQ, or the TQQ. This is the NASDAQ going short right now. So we're short triple the NASDAQ, and we were really patient. It's funny that Neil said that we were not here. That is correct. But I had orders sitting there. So I got filled here, and then all the way down. Came back, sat at our desk, and started punching out right away because I was like, wow, that's nice profit. And we just fell back into this level that we bounced before. But then we just made new lows in the market there, bouncing off a solid number of 13,300 in the in the NASDAQ right there, 13,300. Almost, I mean, we got down to as low as 11 or 10 there in the NASDAQ, so that would be something interesting to look at. So we did take some more out as we sat here, got right back to our desk, had that little fun there with Randy and Brendan, and got a little bit more out on the TQQ at that bottom. So let's just hold it out, man. I think the NASDAQ, you said it only down 0.9. Let's see down 1.9, honestly. Let's get to the downside here, make up a lot on this. We are still short. Amazon, $2 in the money. This is from the jump. So there it is, man. Boom to the downside. Amazon continues to go. Obviously, we're out the majority rate here at 111 because I can't hold anything. But all the way back down 109.50, maybe a good out there for Amazon. So we're $2.30 in the money on Amazon and now 25 cents in the money on the TQQ as we'll try to wait for retracement back down. I think it's nice that we've given everything back if you're short, but there's the NASDAQ right here on a 30-minute chart. We've sort of done some work on this. You know, I'm trying to look at a little bit more of, of a consolidated area here at 13.3, but I do think that we can dip a little bit lower. And if we do break 13.300, which we're coming up to right here, what about, that's the 200 period, 13.275, but you also do have, just back last week into here, 13.250 could be another area, and then next week we'll have to look at 13,000 again. I don't think we get that kind of a drop today, but hey, I've said I'm trimming some of the positions that I have in the NASDAQ. We've been doing that. We actually did some yesterday as well. And look, some of the names are still up to where we've trimmed them out. It's not like it's coming back down. You can never pick the tops or the bottoms, but it's been a nice run. Too bad it's giving it back on the week. There's still some more upside and downside left in this market. Let's just trade what we see.
Hi. Let's continue on. We were discussing Tesla a little bit to kick things off this morning. The only real development that came, if anyone was away from the desk maybe during lunchtime, was this. Linda Yaccarino confirmed as Twitter's new CEO. So Elon can, as I was just telling Randy, get back to maybe doing what he was supposed to be doing a little bit more than playing with Twitter. But anyways. He's going to stay on, apparently, as CTO for Twitter, but I mean, I guess that's more product side, and let the new CEO take care of ad sales and take care of all things on the business side. So Randy's getting mic'd up. So it's about to get serious, guys, when we talk about Tesla.
No, I mean, if he's like, you already saw him say, actually, I'm pretty sure in the announcement yesterday, in the original tweet, it said, new CEO for Twitter/X. So if you're going to make that jump, then seeing the sort of overall, like, day-to-day CEO role, he just wants to be specialized and maybe getting his hands dirty without having to worry about overall that big picture. And yeah, to the extent that it would have freed him up there, you have to understand that that's part of the thing people were criticizing over. Now, I'm not happy with, obviously you saw I was only long Tesla, and I'm going to go to the 15-minute here to get a better idea, or a better idea of why I'm not happy with myself when it comes to Tesla. I had, line in the sand for me was 175. You had a defined range, 166.5, 167, 174.5, 175 up top. And you've been there all week long. Like, beginning of the week, you topped out there, you made a double or triple bottom, you opened up right back at that high. Longs above, but no short beneath. When you have a level like that, generally speaking, I say, well, if we hold the long above here, I'm looking long all day to 80. We don't hold the long, so I tried it, and then you had some success, and then lost right away. No reversal at the 75 level, which it trended down after that. I then tried 60, the 69.5, 70 area, no good, and you go all the way to the actual bottom. Like, this was one of those, if you just shorted that level, and waited until the low or only went long when it got to that actual bottom. That level of patience is not easy, but I can't expect that I would wait all the way for the long. It's probably not going to happen. But this should have been a reversal at 75. For whatever reason, and I know why I didn't reverse it. I didn't reverse it because I came in thinking short on Rivian. And it's like, oh yeah, that's good enough. I'm shorting an EV name. So if Tesla doesn't hold 175, I'll be short Rivian. But that's not it. Tesla was underneath that, it was breaking support. So Rivian, that broke right away. Like, yeah, we're good, 14 to 13. I never, actually, we cancel, I don't need that order. But I thought it was okay. Still should have shorted Tesla, no question about it, once it did not hold that level. And to boot, the other thing about Tesla on that entry point, you didn't have to take the breakdown. So it broke 75, it then bounced, and then rejected underneath 75. So you broke the range, you tried to get back into it and rejected it. So there was multiple, like that was a place anywhere in here to try to get into the trend to the downside, but I wasn't even looking for it. And that's, sometimes your bias gets the best of you. You want it to be a long, I wanted it to be a long and it wasn't. What are you gonna do? But it is what it is, you move on, there'll be another day. I think this bottom, 166 half, 167 for now looks good. If 13.3 can actually hold on the futures, which, right back to square one. This is exactly where we broke out from a couple of days in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, I want to, I'm just writing a message here to Brendo and Neil, but okay, so as we go, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Jim's91. What's up? Thank you so much for the 20 there. Friday equals weed and beer. So there it is right there. Thank you so much. We'll have ourselves a day here one more time. Thank you. And you have a great day yourself. And thank you so much for watching us and, just supporting the show. And I really love that. And what's up, T-Daddy? That reminds me of Trick Daddy. If anybody remembers Trick Daddy, I don't know where that guy is now. He had one or two monster songs. But I do want to say thank you so much to this as well because, hey, look, although this is going to be, honestly, now, the #1 stock on the show is going to be Amazon, but followed by TQQ right now with the profits rolling in on the short. And I want to say thank you to you, T-Daddy, for watching the show, but you're thanking me to follow the short. You long the SQQ, which is short the NASDAQ, which is what I'm doing right now as well. For one of my biggest gains today, hey, me too, my friend. So thank you so much for being with us. And it's always dangerous when I scroll through this. So I'm going to leave that and watch to see what happens later and scroll through on my own accord and then talk about that because sometimes there's inappropriate messages there. But I do want to, oh, here we go.
It's all
the TQQs, yeah, it's all in fun. We're having a great time here on a Friday. And I just hope everybody enjoys themselves. And I'm definitely in a good mood now with this short, and because we have Randy at the desk, and because of Nick Garcia. There we go. Let's hit the sirens again for that. Thank you so much, Nick Garcia. First picture is on him. Thank you so much for that. We will be having some of that right now. I mean, if there was any beer around here, I'd have one right now. So thank you so much to everybody. Nick Garcia and Change. Thank you to all of that, man. Yeah, there's Trick Daddy. What's up? All right, let's go back over to the desk with Brendan. And, oh, did we even talk too much about Tesla? Let me do that quickly because Tesla, again, today, we got away from it. Oh, yeah, I don't know why okay, we could talk about it here anyways. Here's a 5-minute chart for Tesla. Yeah, it looks pretty bad because all of this, I wish these were all purple, but instead they're green. And what greens mean, of course, is buys followed by red, which means these are all longs and these are all covers. And unfortunately, we had one good trade real early, and it's really too bad that I was thinking long the whole time, because if we were thinking short, it actually built out perfectly for the short, because look how many, and this is 5 minutes. So you had about 20 minutes of rejection up here at 177, right? Boom, up to the top. We just kept on not believing. I thought it was a break spot. We got out of half, and thank God for that. And then all of a sudden, downside moves, and then, we tried to take it off the 200 period at 171. That didn't work. So yeah, down goes Tesla for the rest of the day. But it's too bad that I was thinking long on that news, because if you're thinking short, huge opportunities right there for TSLA. As like I said, the market's now at its lowest spot. Hopefully we can get this TQQ even lower than where it is right now. Target is about 28 flat on that trade, and here it is right here. Big shares, 30 cents in the money, so pretty happy with it as we go back over to the desk.
All right, we were discussing some of the Chinese ADRs this morning as well. If you were with us, I was more kind of enamored here with Meta back to session lows, or trying to get back to session lows here as well. 231.5 ended up holding on that last push downside, but Looking a little bit ugly here on the daily chart anyways. Big red candle forming back to the downside if we don't get a bounce here, guys. We were discussing this AI news that came out after the close yesterday. They released more details on how they're going to use generative AI for monetization purposes on the ad side for both Reels on Instagram and also on Facebook. So ends up being a bit of a down day, to say the least, here for Meta.
Yeah, you know what? At least I was one and done with this one. I'll be happy with myself. I got out of the way of a few disasters today, at least. So, quite frankly, I liked a couple of levels for a bid. One of them came in. The other one, that remains to be seen. Maybe we see 230. I don't know. Maybe we could see 230 today. I suppose it's not impossible. But you were in the midst of what looked like stair-stepping to the upside on Meta. You can see it was making lower highs the last few days. Higher highs, higher lows the last few days. So I was looking for that top end of the range to hold. That was a little bit aggressive. That would be in here at 235. Obviously, it did not. We got one bouncer. That's the thing. Like, there was almost everything bounced at least once when I was picking up. Like, Tesla bounced once off the level I liked, and then the second time through, at least I didn't reload it, because at the moment it was like there was no reason to. Nothing checked up. There was no curl or anything like that. It just kind of flushed right through. So I got out. It's easy enough. It's always easy to go back and say you should have reversed the trade, but I liked other things short a little bit better than Meta, quite frankly, and that's what we went to. But at the end of the day, I really do feel like the best you can do sometimes is to limit the damage, right? So if it's at your price level and you have confidence to trade, you're going to make that trade. And if the market says it's going down and you like the long there, you take it 10 times out of 10, well, you're going to lose. And that's part of the game. But the question becomes, like, do you trade it at the levels that don't make any sense? Even if I think it's going to bounce somewhere, it didn't quite get anywhere else that I thought with any confidence was going to be good on Meta. We could see that if things get out of hand today at 230. And that's a level I think I would like to defend today if we get down there. Now, we have an hour and a half for it to happen. It's another $2 away, but stranger things have happened. We've seen 1% days at this time turn into 2 quite often, and if that's the case, I think we could see Meta at 230, which would be, it's not the Alamo or anything, but it's certainly a level that I would look to defend. Were it to pop back up, maybe a 33 short, but that's even a little bit tight on Meta. The chips are in a spot where I'd short some pops right now, but I'd put Meta not in that category.
I've just been covering some of the TQQ. I just want to quickly talk about it. This 28.30 is where the 50 period is. I was debating getting out of a significant portion if we break above 40 right now on this. We do have the level here at 47 with the 200 period. I just wanted to talk about that because there was some questions about where I may or may not get out. But we got something out there because I thought it was going to break again. So when it came back, we got something out at 29. And then we just took a 17, believe it or not, and a 19 right here on the TQQ, as we still have about half of this position, which I'm getting a little bit nervous, so there you go. I take out a 21 again right there, but I'm still short the market, and I don't mind it at all. Meta, we didn't find ourselves in today. If anything, I feel like I would have been looking long, which would have not been great there today. But if you do look at the 1 minute chart, and you know what? Let's look at a 5 minute quickly. Again, there was so many topped opportunities today. You just had to have been thinking short, and it's just, I honestly thought that we could have got some more tailwind from some of this AI, but like I wrote down on the sticky note, I feel like we're in a little bit of a bubble. I've been selling into this rally, and so Meta right here is at a pretty, Neil just talked about all the levels, so there's not much else to look at, but this 231.50, you break that, I feel like we do go to 230, and that's not single-handedly going to collapse the market, but Meta's down 1.62. A lot of the bigger tech names are down more than the market today. I feel like it's Google that's holding everything up. Amazon's getting crushed. We're $2 in the money on that. Let's hold our shorts until something changes, but for right now, Meta, if you want to go long, you got to wait for 231.50, and if you're going to go short, why not test it up here at 233 off the 200 period? So for right now, Meta, great earnings report, great double up from the bottom, but let's not get it twisted. I was pounding the table, and I know Sharif got in and made a shit ton of money, but when Meta was down here, and I've been shaving the position right now, you had a PE of 30. not as attractive when it was down there at 11s and 12s just a couple months ago. So I feel like we're on a big move to the upside. I don't think there's anything wrong with cashing out a little bit here. And if I'm not alone, that's why this market is falling. A lot of people happy with this earnings report that's come out, not just on Meta, but in the market in general. I believe it's time to take a little bit of profit. And I'm not just shouting out the super chats that are 20 and up. We have one here. Thank you so much, Alberto, for the $5. And it just goes by quicker. So if I can catch it, that'd be great. And I know that Bears versus Bulls catches them as well. And I want to thank you for that. Had a rough day in the market today. Like I said, man, it's not an easy road here unless you really get some of these tops and bottoms. So had a rough day in the market today. Grateful for your hard work and trading content. Thank you so much, Alberto, and stay with it. And the only thing I could say is, and I'm not doing this, but is lower your share size maybe if you don't get a good read on it, and then wait. I am lowering my share size, but wait for those opportunities to strike. And that's the one piece of advice that I think has worked out pretty well for me.
Before we go, I just
follow the trend, because Neil, the trend is your friend.
It certainly is. There was a question, and I want to make sure we get it. I know you're trading.
Yeah, do it.
You're trading TQQs. There's Stonkonia asking, is there a reason you're going shorting TQQ or long SQQ? I said it in the chat. I didn't want to speak for you, but it's easier for a day trader. You're short when you want to bet the market going down psychologically. Yes, going long, it's the same thing if you go long the reverse. But because we can go in both directions without having to pay, it's just psychologically, you would just rather be shorting something when you're betting it's going down. It's just.
So the reason why we get this question, I got it twice or three times on the midday show as well, and I think, Neil, is because we don't have to worry about margin.
Yes, exactly.
So the thing is that if you're going short something, then yeah, you're going to have a margin account, right? And so that's the difference why there's a lot of traders obviously doing one versus the other. So just come to my screen real quick if people don't understand maybe what's going on. The SQQ is $28, and you can see what it's up 3% today, right? And so if you invert that, that's Meta, oops, TQQ. If you invert that, it's the same percent. Well, it should be the same percentage, but to the downside. So because Neil and I don't have to worry about borrowing costs or anything like that on this particular name, for me, I'd just rather be short when the market goes down. So I choose the TQQ on purpose. And Pikachu, I also choose you. What's up, Brendan?
I'm confused. Randy's shaking his head. Let's talk Netflix. Downside. I do not know Pokemon, Neil. No, I don't. I refuse to know Pokemon. Anyway, Wall Street Journal reporting, guys, Netflix planning to cut about $300 million this year from its spending. So downside today, that came out just after we ended the morning there, 11 o'clock, so 11:20-ish, that came out. There's Meta still, but Netflix seemed to be a little bit weak following that report today, guys.
I mean, look, I'm calling shenanigans on that 10 times out of 10. Like, not only is Pokemon a cultural phenomenon, but like Pikachu is like the only one that everybody knows. So, anyways, I don't believe you, Brendan. I know you know it. You just don't want to say it. It's fine. Everybody knows that. Like, Netflix is getting its butt kicked today, which it looked strong at one point. And what the weird thing about it is when that news came out, like it went like $4 or $5 to the upside in the cost cutting, and I'm using they, but you guys know I don't really mean like the man behind the curtain or anything like that. But the market absolutely was welcoming of that opportunity to sell. I mean, it's just in gobs. Like, there was no consolidation anywhere. Usually when you get flash news in a positive direction, the first pullback when it gets to that halfway point or maybe a previous support level, there's somebody buying it because, like, yeah, it's good news. Here you go. There's something to look at for the market. No, not here. It just broke right through and just and there was no stopping whatsoever. Yeah, so you get that profit taking back in. It looks like we don't get that run to 350, which I was looking for. I wanted to short that level. We're not going to get it. So watch out for, I think you're probably headed back to the 50 period at minimum on Netflix, just given the way it's rejected to end this week. But stranger things have happened, pun intended. AMD, I just update. I did get this curl in AMD. I'm going to look at 94 here and then the low of the day, like we've been doing time and time again. And I'm probably going to get another reload on Google. At some point, Google's going to break this support, quite frankly. But until it happens, at least there's something that hasn't completely busted on the long side.
Just an update, the wife did get the tofu. So that's what we'll be having there for dinner.
Tofu, there's nothing wrong
and
with
tofu,
flavor
I choose you. Because on the midday show, she asked people know about tofu, so I don't have to cause any controversy with that.
I hope so.
On the midday show, she asked about beef or tofu in some sort of a Thai dish.
Don't know.
I chose tofu because my daughter would prefer tofu, and for me, I'm good
I'm down
either
with
way on that. We try to go meatless. She tries to go meatless Mondays, so just to switch it up. So that's probably
keep
a social
everybody in
media
the
thing,
family
probably,
happy.
to be honest with you, but meatless Mondays is what we try to do.
I'm sure
in the
it is. I've
Katina
never heard of
household.
it, but I'm sure it is.
And then I also found out that tonight is a rep tryout, and I am not actually coaching the Little League rep team, so I get to sit there on my phone and enjoy some peace and quiet for a little bit as my daughter represents our family in her High Park Katina wear, and that should be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you get to watch. That's
Yeah, Meat-Free Mondays. There you go. So you guys know all about that. But if you're wondering where Katrina is, so am I. So right here.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Problem is, she probably closed so many deals that she
Yeah.
decided to go. But no, she told, I'm just playing around. She's
Cleaned her up.
she's off to I don't know where, but she did say that. She said to me, Sean, you're gonna have to find somebody to ring the closing bell because I'm not going to be here.
It's over.
But we have a lot of people. I'm
Close
going to
up
offer it
shop.
to everybody behind us if anybody wants to ring the bell.
I'm sure
Of course,
Randy wants to.
They could do a Parsa rang it the other couple weeks ago, and when he was here. But now that he's a trader, he can also ring it again if he'd like. So anybody
Yeah, as long as he gets flat,
that's
what do you
behind
do
us there again. Man, I should have bought some beer for
I'm
today.
50% sure, 51% sure the guys bought something because they were going out. When I say the guys, I mean like the trading floor. So I'm pretty sure they made a run of some kind to get something. It's
They're
a Friday.
already
Usually
drinking,
they do.
apparently.
Oh, they're already outside?
I don't know. I mean, look where everybody is.
I'd say something, but you remember back at our
gonna
old office. Back at our old office on a Friday, if the market was slow, let's just say there was a certain sports bar next door that absolutely loved us. Shout out to the former Sports Cafe up at Yonge and St. Clair. They're closed now, but I'll tell you, like
The bell by
it was next to the
Brankles,
trading floor.
maybe.
Brankles on the bell? Have we? You
I
guys
don't know
haven't
if
even.
Brankles has
You guys
been
never seen
firmly
Brankles.
introduced. I mean, Brankles.
They don't know
he
him
was
yet.
setting up the computers behind us.
He usually sits right
He's
back
like about
here.
7'3" or so.
7'3".
Maybe 6'2".
No, he's tall. Yeah, he's over 6 feet. 6'1". I'd say 6'1". He's not 6. He's not 6'2" or
I
6'3".
feel like you guys have seen Brankles before. You've definitely seen Greg.
No, you've seen him walk around.
For
sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I think a lot of the traders. Well, actually, there's a lot right here. I was gonna say I thought maybe they're in a meeting, but it's 2:30. That's a little bit
They
late.
might actually be out.
To have the meetings. Just quickly there, I was getting more out of the TQQ. So just if you're following my trade and sort of looking at what I'm trying to do, hey, what's up? Oh,
What happened?
never seen that happen before. That was kind of cool. But anyways, we just got some more out here as it looks like we're kind of basing out right there. And of course, just if you're looking at NASDAQ proper, we just bounced off 13,300 again. So that was giving me the feels to get a little bit out. So we got more and more out. Now we officially have about 40% left of this position. Okay, Brennan just left and said Randy's doing my job
didn't say a
now.
boot.
So without any further ado, let's go back over to the desk and give it to the man, the myth, the legend. It's Randy.
And now it's all about Apple, guys.
Great job there by Randy. Thanks so much, Randy. I was just
No, but I love the pause.
comfortable
I was so sure
and
you
was
were
like,
gonna say
okay,
something.
let's hear what he has to say. If that
I
wasn't
was
the
geared
biggest
up.
build-up to one of the biggest disappointments in Trader TV Live history, thank you, Randy,
Thanks, brother.
for doing that. And now it's about Apple. Back to you. So, all right.
What's crazy is Randy actually could talk about Apple.
He
if
loves
wanted to.
Apple. I mean,
he
this
loves
guy was
Apple.
telling me about how great Apple is. He owns
Come
every
on,
Apple
man.
product. He buys everything that is Apple. Oh, you know what, Randy? I'm going to throw this right back at you now because it's my party, and I'll cry if
Yeah.
I want to. Randy, what would your opinion be? And this is an easy one. What do they call it when you give a pitch, a law ball in
Softball.
there? Soft toss for Randy right
BT
now.
fastball.
Any news?
On or off?
No, it's on right now, Randy. I can hear you in my ear. What would your opinion be? Have you heard anything about that car that Apple may or may not be getting involved with? Anything on that on some of the boards that you follow and whatnot?
I haven't heard much. I haven't heard a peep. There's been some unsubstantiated rumors and things floating around, but there's been no traction on it. And there's a lot of competition now. They're falling behind the margin. I think they're spinning their wheels. Bad cliche.
Ooh, wow, spinning
But,
their wheels.
That's a good one. I like
Bang.
Ow. They're it's been nothing but crickets. So I don't know. Well, it's a wait and see, but I think they've fallen behind the game here. It's there's other news to get to, but we'll talk.
Okay, good. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Think about that. I thought they were sort of partnering. Was it Kia?
There was
or
a
some
rumor.
Hyundai, or there was some
Yeah,
sort
there
of
was
a rumor there that they were going on to that. But so we'll keep it all, we'll keep it all 100, as they say, and get you that news when it actually becomes news. So thanks,
Apple's
Randy,
down today, though. There we go.
for that. Yeah. So what? Apple along? Isn't that the same? I think we had that exact same title either yesterday or this morning. And I was just
That's
like,
exactly the same as the morning.
oh, is it? Okay.
So the answer to that question was no. We can answer that one pretty easily. I have a bad wick on my chart, but suffice to say I was long with muted success on Apple. I'm flat on the stock because I took some profit and lost. I took some profit and lost. I took some profit and lost. Like every time, like it would go, it would give me a fill, and then I'd reload it, and maybe give you a little one profit take, and then it would stop out. Like it's just the way it went. I got this ugly wick at 187. Kind of annoying as all hell, but yeah, I'm not in Apple. Not really trading it. I just got reloaded in Google, but I want to go to AMD first here, if you'll. Briefly, I just got to reload an AMD, kind of playing that curl, going to get some bids out as we speak because the market popped. I said I'd like some chip names if we're going to get pops in the market and go in the scalping zone. We did do that, and then the one last long. At some point, Google's going to stop doing this, but every time it's crept underneath VWAP, at least, okay, well, since it broke out, at 11 o'clock it broke out. So you got the break, and once it broke out, it's been getting to VWAP and then holding the line. So about 116.80, I did get some better fills earlier, but it's been about that 116.80 level that's holding the line nicely, but it can't seem to get past 117. This is the last breathing long idea that I've got. I'm sure there's probably something else out there that I'm missing. But yeah, it's going to break, I think, eventually the way this market is going because every bounce is short-lived in the market, but I'll scalp it till it stops, and we'll go short in AMD. And probably, I mean, there's a lot of flat bottom breakdowns too. I was looking at Coinbase for some shorts. After getting out of that one, it could maybe break back to the downside, but it feels like it wants to make a run at VWAP the way it's going. Like you're on the lows in the futures, you're making a higher low here on coin. I could see it making a run at VWAP, and then I could get back into this. I got trailed out. You throw a trail, you get a bad fill. It's not a bad fill, it's just a bad out. Like I put a trail in, I got a good fill. It's exactly where I wanted it to be filled. It just ended up being bad timing because I made that wick and then it continued lower. Probably would have happened anyways. But we need a pop to at least 58 quarter, 58.30 before I would get back into this one short.
All right, we were able to get a couple more outs there as the TQQ and the market did make a move back down. So I feel like we just want to sit in this trade the rest of the day, really, to be honest with you. If we're able to get any more outs, I don't think we'll take them here. If we can sort of, we've already looked at the 5-minute candles here a couple times, and that's where we got to this 28 where we sort of touched down a couple days ago before making that exact bottom and then just ripping into the afternoon. Again, that's Google coming out with some of their announcements, I believe anyways. Was Google on the 10th? That was was Wednesday, yeah.
What day is today? The 12th?
Friday.
No,
the
12th.
It's
the 12th, yeah, 12th.
So I feel like it was middle of the week, the Google announcements, that came right about at 1 o'clock, 1:30. There's the move rates up to the upside there, because the Google event actually put the market and Google down before eventually taking off when they started showing some examples. So if we can get something in and around this $28 mark, I think we'll like that to get out of our, obviously we'd like that to get out of our short. If we can get anything near there, we'll try to get out of the majority of it, at least half of what we have left when it comes back down. And we still have, now that we check it, we're getting more out as it comes back in here, but no more outs like this, above 30 now. We'll wait. See, those aren't above 30, those are at 30, and one's at 27. But as long as we can stay sort of underneath here, we'll be happy. And then this number is coming down, right? This is the 200 period. As it starts to come down, and we haven't seen it cross the whole day. So the only time it crossed was early on there, and then it made this move down, and we've kind of tested it there, which is where we went short. We actually went to that meeting with that short in mind there, and so we took that, and now it's a nice downside move here for the TQs, and this is, of course, is the NASDAQ. We're just in it because it's triple levered, so we get a little bit of a bigger move on it than not a little bit, 3 times the move that has the NASDAQ. I'm just going to get out if we take this, so that's 28.43. So probably get out a half if we do that, and then we'll go the other way.
This is really happening.
Can't believe we just had a throw to Randy. So, okay, let's go over and throw it to Randy.
Just heading back into the EV space, XPeng taking a play from the Volkswagen playbook, I guess, announcing an entirely new architecture this past week after their earnings, which weren't great. Sales down again for the quarter. They're going to go with a unified architecture to build all future platforms on one, existing platform. Now, these cost a lot of money. I mean, Volkswagen spent over a decade trying to get their electric platform in place to build SUVs and cars and sports cars all on one unified battery electric platform. Hopefully, XPeng is going to get this right. Again, guys, down almost 9% on the day. It's a long-term play, but if they can get their costs down and their sales back up, it looks to be good long-term.
I remember seeing, not to throw shade on XPeng or anything, but it's something I saw, and it was like top brands in China, and like it was like Huawei or something was number one, like brand loyalty kind of thing, right? And NIO was like 20. Li Auto was, XPeng was like 76. It was like really low and lower than the other ones. So sometimes it's like a perception thing, because quite frankly, I'm pretty sure XPeng is done, like Li Auto I think is done really well with their deliveries and whatnot. They had better earnings than the other two. But yeah, they've done pretty well comes to deliveries relative to NIO, but you wouldn't know it from the stock. Like it's really struggling to break out, and if you look at it, it tries to hold the 50 period today. If that breaks back down, lower highs, retake the 50 to the downside. It doesn't look the best. It was down 5% when I sat down. It's down 9% now, so obviously that hasn't gone all that well. But yeah, it's just, I find like sometimes when these things trend, when the Chinese ADRs trend, they trend really well if you can get it the right way. Now, yeah, it's maybe found a bit of a bottom here, but this morning there wasn't a single true green candle. I mean, one that actually did something until you got to noon. So it broke down, and then any single point that you would have thought to get into once it was trending was correct. But that wasn't just it. I think we didn't even talk about Alibaba, but BABA was trending down despite being so strong yesterday. There was some bad data out of China as well that caused a lot of these to come down. Worth noting, BABA's still above 85, at least temporarily. So the old 85 level resistance into support, that's at least still standing. But from there, back over to what we're dealing with here. This market's still going sideways a little bit. That looks like we're not moving at all, and we're going sideways again. Maybe we're going to break out on Alphabet. Probably not, but maybe it actually happens. We're looking for a break of 11.2, get some out in the 30s. That'll probably mean AMD is gonzo for me, but we're still in that long. I actually added back in. I got a scalp out in AMD just there, 94.30. I got back on the offer in front of the resistance here at the 75 mark. So we'll keep going back and forth until the market makes a break definitively one way or the other. You're either deep in the money holding something. Well, the only way you're holding short if you're deep in the money, unless you're in some small cap I'm unaware of right now, or you're looking for like little scalp trades here and there. So that's what we're going to roll with until something says otherwise. We still have plenty of time till power hour. I'd like to think that we break at some point.
Yeah, we just got some more out of TQQs here because, like you said, it's a sideways move, and I could see it sort of being sideways into the close now, but I'm still waiting for more news. If there's ever anything that comes out about the debt ceiling or anything like that, I think that would be interesting here on a Friday. Any news about possible banks or anything like that could come through as well. But I do have an interesting name right now that I think you can take as a potential ideal long if you do like it, and that's going to be Microsoft right here. It's bounced off of 307. Like it bounced off of it at 10:30, bounced off of it again at 1 o'clock, which is not too long ago, of course. And then right now we're having some problems getting through on Softy again right down here. But it's like, to go long on Microsoft and be short on the NASDAQ is ridiculous. But this is leading me to show that there is potential strength there. But like you guys know, I've been selling off some of my positions. Microsoft's still in the pocket right here. And you still need to break back down below 305. So if it breaks down below 305, I think we might be onto something right now. But here it is coming back in. Microsoft 305. That's a level to look at maybe for Monday. I don't know if we're going to get to that today. But this is something right now with it's just been bouncing off. But if there is going to be a long anywhere goggle, I think that Google should be the one to consider. It's been so strong, it's actually positive. And then if I'm going to talk about something barcoding and potentially being a better long, I mean, this has stayed up all day. all day, but look where the 200 period is. It had to get real aggressive because of that huge move up, and we're getting close right now to possibly taking down the 200 period on the 5-minute chart, but still, you're not really there yet. That would be 116.60. So this is another name that I'm definitely not going short on Google. This is what it looks like on the daily. I must have some bad wicks there. This is what it looks like here. So if you're thinking about putting on any big positions, it definitely wouldn't be in this name right now. It's just range bound. Unless you're going to scalp top to bottom, then that might be worth it. I just feel like if I'm going to go long down here and then it breaks that, am I confident enough to go short on that break? You know, or is it just going to look foolish that you go long there, it breaks it and you get out, and then we go all the way back up to the upside again. So Google's still down. We're still up right now, 0.27. Maybe if Google gives it up.
I'd rather get wicked out of a long than wicked out of a short today.
Right, so that's what I mean. So I think the best thing to do would be to go long.
Stay on Sean's chart. I don't.
No, I was just going to say that. I think the best thing to do would be to go long somewhere in here. But then, like, that's too far. That's 116.10. We already made that move.
I'm using the tight stop.
Right.
I'm not.
So, but what tight stop? I mean, even
No.
10 cents? Like, I don't. You're probably right.
No, at this point, no. I have the 65 out. I'm not, sorry.
Oh, you're
long.
already long.
This
Oh,
is
okay,
this
good.
is 70.
Nice, all
This
right.
is 70 right here. Like when this is the first entries I got were right here off the 70 level because it wicked it down here. So the real supply zone when it showed you was into this 60 level. So once it breaks that consolidation, I'm out. I don't think I stop it at 8. I don't stop it at 80. That's actually that would be like 3 cents worth of risk. I think I at least give it to 15. I mean, if you're going 83 into 17, that's 15 to 20 cents. That's a tight range. You can give it that much on the way back. But I mean, if Google gives it, if it's the last line in the sand and it gives it up, like forget about it. Like if it's going to be a long after that, then maybe you get back into it at some point. But I'd rather be stopped. As I said, I'd rather be stopped out with a tight stop and look like a fool out of a long today. Than out of a short. Like give the short some room. Like we just got back into AMD. It's right back into the bottom of the channel. Maybe it takes that 94. So the market wants to be down. Oh, I should use the other one. It's on a different page. This is the one. This is today. That's today. It's all red. It's all red.
Yeah, it's still coming back
There's not
in.
a heck of a lot that's strong today. And quite frankly, the thing that was good was GIST, which is not really GIST. I just like it. GSI Technologies. GSIT, GSIT we could call it, but I like GIST better, even though it's not really remotely what it is. But even this, it 100%, it's not a rug situation, but it traps so many people. This is how you get trapped in a long. And of course, it was at 420 that it broke, obviously. Like, you know, everyone loves a 420 break in the afternoon, and this one broke 420 and decided to like promptly just rug everybody right back into VWAP. That's a pretty bearish move. It's good that it's held up. Might have a second life to it. The volume's solid here, so it could pick back up. I'd like to see it maybe get back and get back above that 380, 390, challenge the top. Anybody that took that short cannot be that pleased. If you short a move like this, where it wicks to the upside, you're in short at like 4 to 410, this, because you're giving it to the high, right? So that's 35 plus slippage. So 40 to 45 cents worth of risk, and it's only gone that far. This has not been that great of a short, despite how good the setup looks like. So it's like, if I was short this name, I'd be like, what the heck is going on and why isn't it falling? I'm not, and I'm not paying for it either. But were I to, I would be a little bit scared about it. Tesla in here. Ooh, is it catching a bid? No. It's not falling any further, but to say it's catching a bid, I saw someone saying Tesla's waking up. I don't know. That's saying a lot. I think we need more than this to call a stock waking up when it's down 2.5%. I'd love it if it did, but I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah, may or may not be waking up. I have a stock that's still asleep. It's going to be PayPal. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Ugh.
What's up, Randy?
Bank here, Bank of Hawaii, I guess, following PacWest's decline, I guess, in the last week or so. They've tried to reassure depositors that their deposits are safe, but they haven't disclosed what their deposit situation is, and the market's not really liking that so much. So down about 8% today, guys.
It's bad because I was just saying to Neil, I'm almost certain that was a name that Michael Nas talked about a couple weeks ago, and he had some sort of a scanner set up that was showing all the What was that?
It was a relative.
Was it Michael Nas or somebody else?
No,
it was
Michael Nas was relative strength within the
banking sector, and he had noted, and not to say that he's long or that had changed, but I think it was at least, obviously he was here today, so it must have been last week or even the week before. BOH
Yeah, it wasn't
was on that as holding up. But obviously, if Michael Knowles is around, man, you're welcome to come back on. If you're watching, just let us know. You can come back on right now if you do have that scan and you want to share it with us one more time. But yeah, BOH. So let's look at that. It never really has enough volume for us anyways. And I remember looking at that when he was talked about it, but there it is right here. So I believe that would make sense that Michael was maybe looking at this about a week ago, trying to hold out for this. 45 or so area, but look at that, man. It broke the bottom, and there goes BOH all the way to the downside. I mean, these regionals, you might not get any more regional than a Bank of Hawaii, but yeah, nice little move to the downside right here. Without knowing much about it other than what Randy said, yeah, look out below. There's just so much here to unpack, like when you're looking at some of these banks and where we're going from here. And it could be a great opportunity to buy, or it's just a trap again, like that PacWest was. Yeah. And we'll see. Charles Schwab today, they reported an increase, just like Western Alliance did last week, or actually beginning of this week, an increase in their deposits today. So Charles Schwab up that 1.7% and fighting sort of the good fight, trying to anyways, bouncing off some of the bottoms here. So maybe Schwab, if you're going to be into any name, maybe this is the right one, or you just stick with the KRE and go with an ETF that may have some success to it.
I want to shout out Lava Girl for a second.
Sure.
Because she, like Lava Girl here saying, like Bank OH really exposed to rate issues. I think if you're looking at any of the regionals, we all love technical. When you're a trader, you look at technicals, you want to see trends, all that kind of stuff, and it's great. We all love trading off of those. But in this particular sector, I mean, the trends have pretty much been to the downside. You want to have at least some sense of the risk involved, like who's got more commercial real estate exposure, who's more exposed to the high rate environment that we're in right now. How does their deposit situation look like? I don't think I'd be comfortable with my money in any of them just on a long-term perspective without understanding, relatively speaking, how bad it is. It's one thing to see that the market's holding one of them up and that it's doing okay, but I want to have some concept of what's under the hood, even if it's only like a base understanding of it. But I think it's just one of those things. Why I wanted to shout you out, Lava Girl, was simply, this is a community where we're all just trying to learn more. I'm not an expert in the banking sector by any stretch of the imagination. I would know what I pretend to be, but I think we can all try to learn from each other, right? We see it all the time. We get ideas. We make sure you're looking at this when you analyze that report. Like, this metric matters more for this sector, and we talk about that all the time. So I think it's important you always do your diligence here. I know we get it wrapped up in the trading, but there's always another side to that coin. Going back over to the markets, which refuse to go up. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's a trend that seems to be happening today, that the market only wants to go down. However, I always want to say it this way, like there's somebody at 94.25 on AMD. What I really mean by that is there's just a buyer here, and you can see it when I zoom right in, like at exactly 94.25, short the name. Every time it gets to this price, there's no size on the bid. It's just, it hits it, it goes, it refreshes, it hits it, it refreshes. There's only a few hundred shares there. There's nothing actually on the level of any size, but it's probably enough that every time it gets to that price, you want to take some profit out. At least it makes some sense to do so, because it doesn't seem to want to break that level. The market's in a range, and if the buyer's at that price, then you want to be getting some out in front of it. So if you're scalping a trade, that means taking some out in front of 94.25, which I'll do next time. So you just want to notice things like that. It's the same way Google can't seem to break 116.80. This can't seem to break 94.25. Just little things that you do notice. I am still looking at that small capper, that gist. If it makes a move, I'm interested, but it's not really doing anything. I'm looking for anything else that might be making some power moves. There's nothing halting or going crazy that I can even see when I check out my locator. Like, nothing is halted in half an hour, and that thing was pretty much a nothing burger.
Yeah, I don't know. People asking if we have a Streamlabs bet Bears versus Bulls can figure
there
that
is one.
out. Okay, there is one. Okay, good.
It's the SPY. I think it's SPY red or green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At least that's what I saw.
Okay, probably red at this point. Yeah, we're still biased to the short.
I mean,
so
it's hard not to say that. Yeah.
Lyft CEO says a sale is not our focus, and that's never good when you hear that. That came out about an hour ago, so you're seeing some increased volume there in Lyft. Just looking for names that are maybe spiking or whatever on volume, and it does look like Lyft is going to be one of those temporarily anyways. Nice little volume spike, and then Unfortunately, its past 52-week low was 840, and that was just taken out today for Lyft, and going kind of in the opposite mood than Uber, because Uber was just at I'll have to check out Uber. Uber was just at 38. Haven't seen that in a minute, but there it goes to the downside, breaking past lows, and Lyft is, yeah.
That's a flat bottom.
Probably seeing one of its worst. I mean, this is a much worse day and worse week, but this not great off of a good report from Uber. Lyft comes out to says the kind of the opposite there, and now you're making a nice move down and breaking some of those lows. So, man, this.
You want depressing?
What's that?
Zoom out a little bit more, and it actually gets
up to like 60 or
like
$70.
one stage worse. Like that one bad move down, there's actually a worse one if you go back to May of 2022. It's just like, you think that's bad? Oh well, look, well there was this break at 32 that led to it. Lyft and Uber, I think the wheat's being separated from the chaff. Is that how you say it? Or something like that?
The wheat is being separated?
The wheat is being separated from the chaff, or whatever it is. But
Maybe,
like, it's only the strong survive.
Right.
And at this point, there was definitely a point at which there was a battle going on here between the two. I think we've passed that point in terms of, and I'm not saying Uber hasn't solved everything yet, because they're not truly making money. Like, you get their adjusted profits and all that stuff, but they're more diversified. They have a little more going for them that allow them to win some price wars a little bit better. And that's, which one of these is going to survive? If you had to make a bet, I don't know many people that will be betting on Lyft right now. I'm sure there's somebody out there, but most people are probably betting the other direction. And again, like, to each their own. All right, maybe the last time I reload, if there's a buyer at 25, actually no, I don't want to reload this. If there's a buyer at 25, let's see it test at that 70 level, and by this I mean AMD, before I make another move. Meta finally making a bounce to the upside. It's going to be hard for me to tell, because suddenly I'm getting all these crazy dark pool wicks all over the place on my charts. This one just came in here. Meta bouncing off the low. It's up about $1 from the bottom here, so that is a pretty solid bounce. Not going crazy, not going nuts, but it's a decent bounce. I see Tesla's not moving. Even like Google bounces, but it goes 10, 15 cents. We need a definitive move here off of these lows. And the crazy thing about it is you're right at support. Like, I didn't draw this line today. I've had this line above 13.3 in for weeks. It just so happens that we're bouncing shy of 13.3. Like, this is a 13.310 level, because I was using that as a proxy for breaking 13.3. I wanted to see it 10 handles past, but you're actually bouncing in front of that 13.3 level. However, you're not even out of the real channel until you get 30, 40 handles from here on the NASDAQ. So you're not really breaking the trend just yet, but this is a pretty healthy bounce, at least relatively speaking.
It's funny, you were talking about something bouncing, and I was like, okay, PayPal is straight up right now. Nothing, no news as far as what I can see or anything like that, but PayPal off the bottom there. Nice move right back up to 61.70, 61.80 again. 5-minute chart, we're not quite there. I think we got to get to that 62.20 or 30 before we even decide to short it. But for right now, it does look like this is a nice move back up to the upside here for PayPal, and it might be primed to get short right now. But again, we're already short. The NASDAQ is starting to go back to the upside, so we've been getting a few trades out there on the TQQ, and we've sort of been talking about that, and our ultimate out on that will be 45. But there comes the NASDAQ. I don't know if what did we just get to, 13,340? Again, it's just a clean bounce pretty much off of that 1,300, 13,300. We could get back, 13,300. We could get back there. There's some talk they want to look about the ES. I mean, we could check out the SPY as well. Now, if you're trading, I mean, I only really look at the NASDAQ because most of the positions I have on are NASDAQ related. But the SP is the same way, man. Actually, it's a little bit better today, down only 0.5 against the NASDAQ 0.8. SPY, again, with some of the bank names in there. Obviously, Apple's a big holding there, Microsoft and whatever in the spiders, but much more of a holding in the NASDAQ. SPY being held up today. 410. I mean, 410's a good break. And if you're just going to look for a break long, like, again, here, it looks the same as the NASDAQ, so that's kind of why we look at it. But there's the 200 period. Looks like you're trying to cross it at 410. So maybe there could be a play there if we break above. And you always want to take a break of the 200 back to like VWAP. So that would be VWAP there at 411. This is just a 1-minute chart, and these are all simple moving averages besides volume weighted average price. So that's something to look at, but these are all simple. So that's a 50 period simple, and then 200 right there. So 50 is I don't know what it look like on your screen, but it's pinkish purple, and then that's green, and then we got a bluish purple, I guess, up there as well. So that's what it looks like. One name that was moving around, we talked about this. You may or may not have been in this early, but Beyond Meat again today.
Oh, I was.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's the only. Okay, well,
It's not moving now, but it did have that bottom at 9:30.
I was
down
going to say
to
it's the
10
only stock you
bucks,
could short and lose.
up to 11, and now again, not doing too much. With an hour left, man, hopefully some of these names start to move.
Maybe it'll squeeze.
Again, Amazon at 110. Oh yeah, Amazon, that's my stop. So good thing you guys put that in the chat there. Thank you to Brad. What's up, Brad? Yeah, that's my stop. So we're still short Amazon from the morning right now, and that's my stop right now, taking out this 200 period. That's probably
trailing stop.
Well, I don't have a trailing stop in, but it's just this 110 area. That's where I'm trailing this stop.
Figure of speech. If you're in the money, it's a trailing stop when you're in the money.
Yep. So I am getting out if it does take 110, which looks like it wants to do right now. Maybe that is a long, and I just go back to Microsoft that we sort of talked about being a long down here at 307. Well, that's come and gone now as Microsoft retraces back up to the upside.
Oh, okay. I got rid of that wick on Meta and just came right back. That's really annoying. But that is bouncing as well. There's a few names that are making some decent bounces here. I don't want to reload that AMD. I was just looking over at Apple. Please have that wick be gone too. Yeah, Apple's making a decent charge. On the 3 minute, that's annoying. On the 3 minute, you haven't had a red candle in the last. Zooming in any better? It's a little bit better. Yeah, in the 3 minute, you've had one red candle in essentially the last 40 minutes here. So it's been a nice charge up on Apple. The market is making a decent bounce off these levels. I'm going to trim some more AMD the second it goes a little further down in the money. And I'm looking to where we can get some more, I wanted to say Apple, but Alphabet, look, Google here. If we can start holding a higher low, that'd be fantastic. I still want that 1120 to 30 area for now. But if suddenly, instead of bouncing off 80s, you're bouncing off 117 even, then I like that. It's almost like you like the long better because it's not pressing up against support. You're then stair-stepping to the upside, and it's a stronger recovery, or at least a stronger bounce. So first things first, I have a bid in front of 40s on AMD. Hopefully we get that. Now it's about looking for a couple of longs. Racer X9, I'm not trying to jinx you in Apple. If you're long, congratulations! I'm not trying to jinx anybody, man. I'm just pointing out that it's been strong. I mean, that's a good thing. We want things to bounce in a general sense. I mean, overall, but it is what it is. It's just a matter of can we actually carry this move through? Again, there's not a lot of names that have been ridiculously strong. You're already talking about Microsoft, I do think. Oh goodness, does every single one of my charts have to have a wick $20 down in the last 10 minutes? Randy, what's up, buddy?
First Solar, FSLR on the NQ. They've acquired a company in Sweden called Evolar, thin film cell producer, very high efficiency for a $38 million cash deal, expected to improve production and solar output for this year and the year beyond.
Interesting, right
Sharif
there.
was all over this one earlier.
Yeah, and then he told us, I was like, yeah, man, Sharif, you got a great trade there at FSLR. And he's like, yeah, but I turned red on it. So yeah, that's the frustrating part is you get these big moves and you hold on to them and then it's right back in. I will look at FSLR in a minute. I did have Tesla up, but I just want to quickly talk about TQQ one more time because the NASDAQ is breaking higher and I want people to understand what my strategy is just because if it does come back upside, we are going to have to get out. I mean, we could have a rally into the close. I don't necessarily see the reason to do that, but we have broken above the 50 period. And then just looking at this, this has sort of started downside from 29 bucks. That was the break that happened early. This is a 50 period moving average on the 5-minute chart. It hit it a couple times. That's where we went short the last time, able to get it all the way down to the downside, and we got the majority of our position out. We talked about that. Well, not the majority. We got about 65, 70% out, and you can see that right here. And now I'm just taking another short, but realistically, I want to take one more short if we come up to 45, which is where that is. Then we'll give it a little bit of love and get out if we take out 50s or so here for the TQQ. So that's 57, that wick high. But again, I'm not super concerned about wick highs or anything in the TQQs. It's more about just trading off of these lines because it's, at the end of the day, it's a Qs, right? So it's a NASDAQ 100. It's 100 stocks that get all put in together, and then the ETF just moves with that. So it's not like all of a sudden you're trading a stock like Amazon gets blown out and everyone sort of gets squeezed to the top and then it comes right back down. this is 100 stocks. So you sort of have to sort of respect sometimes what you're seeing if you're trading the futures. And I've been getting, I mean, we said this the other day. This is my number, well, my number one stock is Amazon. You can see why, and we're almost out of that. But, you know, we said we'd go back into the futures, and I'm glad we did today. Although initially we were going long right in here, which was wrong. But then we flipped it up into the short, and taken some profits back here. But in what is a pretty slow and quiet market right now, I feel like we got to respect some of these lines. So I'm sitting here with about double the shares I have on now. So just going to add to the position. So, you know, whatever position I have now, I'm going to put it on again up here at 45 and then give it to like about 50, 52 or so here on the TQQ. So if you are following it, that's what I'm going to try to do. Want to stay short, man. The market's still downside right now. I don't want to get fooled by this little bump up, although it's going to be enough to get me out of Amazon, that's for sure, because 110's been a good hold spot. Even if you go back, we really liked Amazon breaking 110 long. So, you know, if it breaks it back down to the downside, which it's done today, you know, we want to use that as a spot to get out if it does break higher. So that's Amazon. I may take, and that's the market, I may take a little small piece here on the TQs at about 37, 38, just because it's bouncing, and we did take another short, if you could see right there. So we'll take another piece as well as we're sort of bouncing off the 1 minute now. Let's get back to the downside on a little bit of a reloaded position there on the market. So I hope that talk helps you guys give a little bit of a position, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's lower highs all the way. I mean, even, like, you know what just actually made a decent bounce was PayPal. But when I look at it, that's almost like just, this is a shorting opportunity, and it's a tight stop shorting opportunity. So I'm going to, before I finish talking here, I'm going to get on the offer. I always like to see this. You have a clean downward trend, you make a tight consolidation. Once it tries to break the trend, tries to break that little consolidation, I like that you can go either direction on a play like this. I just feel like I'd rather be with the trend in the case like that. So, you know, it's about 65 short. I got a 63 short, but that's about that 65. And when I zoom in, it's maybe easier for you guys to see. There you go. You're really risking back to like 75, 80, so it's a tight risk to reward here. That's where my head's going to be at. The other play that I'm already in, which is very similar, but we've been going back and forth on this. AMD's now stair-stepping, so more aggression in terms of where I cover it. And then you're right up rubbing against that stop. So it did get right to the top of the range here, and then kind of, it didn't really wick it or anything like that, but didn't quite even break that range. And so actually, I want to adjust. I'll use a different stop order. Again, so I'm just going to move my stop, not really move the stop. I'm using a different stop order on AMD. So I want to, if it breaks that high, I just want to be out of it. We can revisit it at 95 to 95 quarter, but getting more aggressive getting out. There's a buyer at 94.25. It cannot seem to break that level, so I don't want to fight it. If it does break out, it breaks out.
Okay,
Google's my long. That's the one I'm working with. I just grabbed that PayPal. It's going to be a very, very tight stop for me. I'll give it about 3 more cents. I'm looking for something else to the long side if there is a strong bounce. Apple's probably too far gone. Tesla's literally not doing anything. I'll check something out that I haven't seen, like a CHPT. Got a couple of questions about that, and maybe it's the same person asking twice. I have not looked at that once today, so I'd have to check that chart, but I want to get my stops out, my take profits here on PayPal first.
Oh, good. You did? Okay, good. I was going to say, yeah, I did like that PayPal. I'm glad that you're looking at that right now. So, okay, here we go again. Let's go, says Mario, because the market is nicely cooking right back up to the upside again, bouncing off very key levels of 13,300. I like that PayPal. I'm glad we sort of looked at that. I'm glad you're in it. Let's just wait to see what happens with that name, as it's a popular one on the chat again. I do want to look at Peloton in a minute as well. But there we go, TQQ, man, the last stand has been made. We'll see if we can take out this little level right there and break above 55 before we are wrong here on the TQQs. Actually, I put that order at 53. Let's go a little bit higher that I noticed that 55 area. So 28.56 for the out as I just set this up as, oops, not 20. Wow, I put in 28.90 there because I missed the 6. All right, so let's go on that. We'll take a little bit of a share position there. We already talked about that as we put that upside, and now we wait to see what happens if we get to 56 on this TQQ. It'll be a hit, obviously, if that comes up to that side, but we'll wait and see if we can't make a little bit of money on it. We're short right now at 45. in total. That's our total position right now, 28.45. So a little bit of a pullback to the 50 period on the 1 minute makes a little bit of sense. We'll put a bid down there, even if we put a bid at 34.35, we'll see if we can take a little bit on that and then bring it back in for the TQQ. So good short at 45. We said we'd do that. Now let's see if it does go. We said Peloton. Let's have a quick look at this, 686. You know, flushed out yesterday on the recall of the seat post, but look at Peloton, absolute disaster as this name gets no love, back down to the downside and just keeps on going. It made 52-week lows yesterday, and it's lower today, but how low did we go today? We got as low as 660 off the open. This is just a one-day chart, so there goes Peloton right, I mean, yeah, 660. That was the 52-week low. So
see, now that company,
yeah,
like this is the thing. Like you could always speculate of some people getting bought or whatnot, but like the exit strategy for that company, if things get really bad, like that's one that would scream deal at some point because they have an actual product that people still swear by, and a lot of subscribers. Like it's just even just the subscriber base has to be worth something.
It's $2 billion.
That's the.
The market cap
is $2 billion right now at 6.5. If that drops beneath $5,
it's right here. You have the short float also 12, not huge, but yeah, relative volume 2x the volume today. Shout out to Trade Ideas as this is their scanner right there, but 2.24 billion as a market cap. Like I said, man,
you bet that with longer.
You know, Tim Cook can slip on the street and that could fall out of his pocket. So I'm just wondering if somebody like Apple that loves to get everybody into their environment takes out something like Peloton. But
I think Amazon. But
that's right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
no, but either or. You know what though? Like if that's you could throw out you could throw out a lot of other names too. Like you could throw out a Nike. Like there's a lot of.
I still thought Lulu made a lot of sense.
Lulu makes. There's a lot of names you could throw out there that cheap. Yeah. Like you're talking out.
Peloton has their own clothing sort of line. I don't know who they're.
Yeah, that's where like Lulu, Nike comes in there. There's a lot of places that could go. But if you're making that bet, you don't have to buy the equity. That's the kind of thing that you could play for some long dated calls or something like that because you don't know when something's going to happen. Quite frankly, and it's more of a binary bet. If it gets beneath $5 and hangs out there a year without anything happening, fine. At least you know your limited losses. Speaking of limited losses, I do have a tight stop on PayPal and AMD. I hate your guts, but I wanted to get to CHPT here. The Alamo is $8. I found something that's the Alamo for. Look at the daily chart because we got a question about this. Nothing really going on here. Brendan didn't see anything in spectacular, but trend down. And you're at one of these lines in the sand that it just. You know, we talk about flat bottom breaks all the time, but for charge point here, like wow, you've been condensing down in this level. You essentially been holding $9 for resistance, and suddenly $8 is the bounce. It might test it today. And it seems unlikely it's running out of steam, but yeah, you could easily see this one maybe breaking an $8 level next week. It's worth looking out for when you get these flat bottom breaks. You know, notwithstanding today, because I lost shorting Beyond Meat today, which, you know, quite frankly, in a day where the market goes down, hit enter twice. It just sucks if you lose going short, but you know, it was like the best short yesterday, so I'm going to take a shot and lose on it in a day like today, and it actually held up 3%. But when this made a flat bottom break, first at 12 and then 11 on Beyond Meat, it was basically the same thing. It was this 11 break, triple bottom, same timing, almost exactly the same chart, Beyond Meat and charge point, and this is what it looked like. It was already, you know, already quad-dunked already, but when it got to 11, it was just an easy short at that price as well. So that's why we look at flat bottom breaks. A lot of stops are going to be underneath those levels. Maybe I should have done bed. Steve, we can't trade Bed Bath & Beyond, actually. It's on the OTC, but it's sub-dollar, so we can't trade it here at Day Trade the World, unfortunately. Although they've made exceptions in the past. That's like 20 cents, man. So I don't think we'll be looking at that name. This is getting, the range gets tighter and tighter on AMD here, but you know what? It's creeping higher and higher. It's like every single time I look over and I've reloaded, it's like, yeah, we're just coiling up on AMD. So the coil increases, I get a little bit tighter to the bid here because I feel like it just wants to break out. PayPal still in the same consolidation it was before. It's one of them days that the market goes through. You know, if it breaks to the channel to the downside, then I got my orders to the low. If it breaks the channel up, I'm not reversing it, I'm just getting out.
All right, so we can have a little bit of an update here. We'll see if we can get the sirens to wake this market up a little bit. Although it's pretty much waking up to the upside for sure. It's just, it sucks when this is happening late and you're trying to build some short positions. But with that being said there, we were lucky not to get hit out on Amazon. I mean, not lucky. We put our stops where we put our stops, and if they trigger, you know, they trigger. So that didn't, though. We were almost out of it, man. It came up to 110.03. We put our stops a little bit north of, you know, of key levels or south, depending on what it is. And we didn't get stopped out, but this just fell right back into the 50 period here at 80, and we took that fill. So we just got out now. It actually went down into 67. I was like, wow, that was a good hold. But then it bounces off that with volume, makes a wick bottom with volume. So I just said to myself, we're going to get out if it breaks back above 80, and that's exactly what it does. So we're able to get a piece out on, or not a piece out, all of it now out on Amazon, and that was a good little closing trade there because it was $2 and I have to find the per PL there. $2.11, something like that, as it comes all the way to the downside there. So again, good short off the open and hopefully a good out right there. And it's kind of funny because if we follow our same rule and kind of get out when we break that 50 period, it's almost at the same price. Although it was breaking there, we weren't about to get out there. Nice hold for us today on Amazon, taking $2 on that one. So
Coin's falling right now.
Well, Bitcoin is at 26,000 and it didn't hold 27.
Market's bouncing. We did
I mean, now my TQQ is getting squashed.
Well, it's weird. So I'm kind of looking at coin. I have Tesla up right now, but like Bitcoin actually bounced shy of the low. So yeah, we wicked down and broke support, but it actually just bounced a little bit here. Oh, I resized this, and come on, Binance, you can do better. You can do better. Maybe my internet's slow sometimes, I feel like. That chart's not that bad when I'm usually using it, but it doesn't matter. You get a bit of a bounce here. It's not that crazy, but you wick the bottom, held 26, and are coming back in here. And the market was just bouncing, but then I looked over at Coinbase, which, sorry, I was watching Tesla before this happened, so I didn't get a chance to even hit enter on my enter here. And Coin was breaking the low of the day on decent enough volume, so that's happening while we're going in the other direction. Dan Emmons in here saying, Binance, we are also withdrawing from the Canadian marketplace? Binance withdrawing from the Canadian marketplace? Okay. Okay, looks like there is some news coming out. So although we disagree with the new guidance, we hope to continue working with Canadian regulators to develop a thoughtful, comprehensive regulatory framework. So I guess, Canada has joined with the hatred for crypto and cracked down. Well, quite frankly, regulation was coming. Maybe could have been more cooperative and transparent with the process, but it is what it is, and that's where we're at right now. So I don't know if that's the reason why Coin went down a little bit there, but the market did make a little bit of a bounce, or has been bouncing, and Coin's been breaking those lows. I got trailed out of that one and just never worked my way back into it. This is the one. Like you see it when it rejects the 50 and the 200 here, underneath 60, just look short until we get to 50. Until it proves otherwise, look short until we get to that $50 level, which seems to always hold when it gets down there. But you got plenty of room next week to get to that price. I keep looking back over at AMD. Thankfully, was able to get something out there again, but it's just coiling up and looks like it wants to make this breakout. PayPal, maybe not nearly as strong. That's starting to roll over. That's a good sign. The market's still holding that bounce, but starting to roll over in PayPal. But until it breaks again, I'm not really getting anything out there. So we'll get some legs out in front of the low. Google might be worth just admitting that this stock can't get above 117 more than 5 or 10 cents. Like it's ridiculous. If this next move can't actually break out this next 10 pennies, then I'm just getting something else out because that's pathetic, really. If that's the environment we're in. It's a stock holding the lows when the market just bounced 40 handles and it doesn't move more than 25 to 30 cents. Sometimes, even though it's holding the level and you're not out of the money, it still sucks because it's not moving. Apple went $1 in this time. $1. Tesla, I think Tesla moved. Meta went $1 too, I think. Oh, and then maybe, well, it's giving back now, but yeah, Meta did move $1 in that same time. So Apple had bounced $1, Meta bounced $1. I'm in Google, while holding the low, it went 25 cents. So, that's not enough to hold that bid. Thankfully, PayPal's starting to work, but yeah, it's one of those markets. There's no follow through anywhere. That's the word I want to say.
That's the word, yeah.
There's no follow through to any of these moves. You basically just have to be scalping the range. There's nothing else to do.
Well, it tried to follow through to the upside there, and that's
It's trying.
yeah,
but
it's trying, and it's hopefully going to fail epically because we are loaded up on the TQQ and on the NASDAQ short. What name was really on one, and I think it must have got a caffeine injection here. Starbucks just went off from 105 bottom there, hitting the 200 period, and straight up a dollar, up to 106 without really any red candles until now, as Starbucks starting to now fall back down a little bit here. So that was a nice little move to the upside up to 106. If we zoom back out a little bit here, you just kind of went back to some of these ranges again, 106.20, 106.30, before falling back down. That sort of was that bottom on the 5-minute chart, and there goes Starbucks. I like this play. I'm uncertain, of course, about China. If you're going to go into China, maybe Nike, Tesla, Starbucks, Apple, those are all the names that you're going to be a little bit fond of if you are, or looking at the Chinese economy and wondering if that has any sort of pushback into the U.S., as we know it obviously does. And Starbucks was apparently opening like a branch or a store a day there in China.
Explosive growth.
Very, very good growth there. And nice move there back in for Starbucks, and a positive name today. So, maybe if you get back up above, I don't think we're going to get to 107. And if we do, then obviously this market would have been ripped up. So we'll have to wait to see about Starbucks. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because of where it is on the minute chart. Just a nice little move to the upside.
I just got wicked out of AMD. It looks
Okay,
like.
now you're out.
I'm
Stopped
out.
out.
No, stopped out. I always say that. I usually say that term when I get stopped out and it's immediately never goes any farther. Like it goes right back. That's what I mean. So wicked out as a term. Like I stopped out of it, but it didn't follow through. That's what I mean by wicked out. It's not really like a technical term. It's just something we say as a figure of speech. I like PayPal as a short better, so I don't know if I want to jump back into this because it was trending up into this anyways. So I was fighting it a little bit. So once it gets out of the channel, no point fighting it any further. When something goes into the channel and then rolls back out before the futures turn and it's trending down, that's to me better. So this is better. We're heading back to the low on PayPal. Roll. We'll roll to the downside. I'm not going to say the roll tide or anything like that. That's the first thing that came to mind when I said roll over, because I like college football, but I'm just not an Alabama fan. So let's roll back into the bottom here. Let's see where we can go. This market does not want to get back up and retest the key price levels, which you got 30 handles away from it. If we roll back to the bottoms, anything is possible. I could see PayPal breaking the low. I could see the futures breaking the bottom and possibly even getting down to 13. I mean, 13,000 flats, that would make a little bit of 13,000 flat. That would make some sense as the next level to look at, but that 13.3 is today's level that we actually care about. That 13.3 has yet to be breached. If that goes, that's when you can see the floodgates. We worry about 13,000 flat next week.
I really hope we get to that bottom, man, for sure. 52-week lows, and maybe I'm guessing that they've missed. We can find out when they report and everything like that, but what the hell is going on with 3M right now? I don't know if they have a lawsuit or something about them. Their PE is only 10. Surgical and medical instrument, it says here, surgical and medical instrument manufacturing, but 3M makes everything.
They make everything.
Including the sticky notes right now. Sometimes
that's a bad chart.
Posted. Are they posted? I think they must be right there. But let's get off this. Where it is. There it is right there. 10 right now on the PE for 3M, obviously with not much short flow. So I figure like I'm missing a story here because look at this daily chart for 3M. This is a brand new 52-week low today. And when some of these, I know it's not an industrial per se, but all the products that they're making and all the spaces that they're in, this is a strange one to me. Straight to the downside here. I'm not in this stock, but like, this is an interesting one. Wondering kind of what's up with 3M right now and their dividend as well, maybe. But nice move to the downside right here. Let me just check out FinViz and what their dividend is. MMMMM right now. It's a name that I've looked at in the past. I'm pretty sure Brendan's going to come in a second with some news, but there it is. This is why it's attractive to your boy. 6 on the dividend. Now that's not, you could get 4 with cash right now. So this is not like necessarily a dividend play, but yeah, definitely not great here. Year to date down 16%, performance half year 19. So it's really getting killed. Let's see if this is something that Brendan might have.
Yeah, this was after the close yesterday, guys, for 3M. $4.25 billion 5-year revolving credit agreement announced after the close again yesterday. They actually report next week, next Thursday, as earnings for 3M.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, so man, that's a flat bottom break on 3M, man. It doesn't look good. You know what else doesn't look good? I know she's not here, but
Hola, like and subscribe today.
Yeah.
it is never. It's never easy when you
Newell?
have
Yeah.
when you have a day where it's like the market. It's a little bit. It's trending to the downside, but it hasn't been necessarily an easy short by any stretch of the imagination. Quite frankly, like I look at something like a PayPal, and it's like there's abject frustration when you are like, okay, fine, it's working, but let's be real. Like that was like look at it all day long. Okay, well we joined the trend at the end. That's the best you can do. You got to be able to move on to what's next. As a trader, it's like being a closer in baseball. Like you got to have a really short memory because yes, you want to eventually, in the post game, you can reflect on things and learn from it. But in the moment, you got to get back and make the next pitch, make the next trade. That's what we're here to do. That's why I'm not going to dwell on anything from too much earlier, except where we can learn those lessons. Let's just get back to it and try to figure out what we can do going into the final 40 minutes of the week, of the day. Quite frankly, I think we could see a bit of a breakdown. However, we are bouncing a bit more. So that move, which felt like it was going to roll over, is now tracking back into, and again, this line is just simply yesterday's low, right? So it's yesterday's low, at least where we turned yesterday, but I've had it in there for a while. If we reject that previous support zone, I would think we're rolling back over. That's a spot that I would certainly be looking to take some off of the shorts if we break through. Otherwise, I think they're still good. I got a bid at the low of the day on PayPal. Google still refuses to break 117.20. There's just nothing I can do about it. It just doesn't want to go. Is FS Solar still moving? Did we talk about this? I think we...
Yeah, Randy brought it in.
Yeah, Randy brought it in, but this is actually going to break the high, potentially going to break the high of the day. I shouldn't speak in certainties. It might break the high of the day. Up 26% and still going. Like this is...
Congratulations!
That is the long today, this stock, and it's been holding out the top end of the range, so good for them. It's a great-looking daily chart. It's a good-looking chart in every stretch of the imagination. The spread is a little bit nuts with this, so a breakout trade, it never fits my risk. When you have the realistic spread is going to be like 50 pennies on this because it'll show 25 cents. When it breaks that level, it's going to be 50 cents, and then you're probably putting up a couple of dollars worth of risk. For 30 minutes left to go, I would never take a top break with that kind of a risk profile. It doesn't make any sense. You're not holding it all day long when it can just keep trending it for you. You're holding it for 20 to 30 minutes, and you're risking $3. So I wouldn't take the top end break, but if I was already long, I'd let it go, and then maybe trail it.
Still, yeah, okay, good. You're still long Google. I just say it's broken, right? It's broken up. So that's
Is it though?
Well, 117.20. Yeah, man. I mean, I'd be excited.
But Apple's up $1. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Apple,
Google's different.
I know. Apple and Meta have been stronger off the bottoms. It's finally starting to go, but I think the way that it rejected 117.60 earlier, like the decision point was 117.25. I took some out in front. I think the next decision is going to be 117.60. It is getting spicy. You know what? Now, this is the move I was waiting for to say, okay, if it dips down, now we're buying 117s. Forget about 116.18. If it comes back down, I want to be buying in front of that 17 level in this consolidation. And let's see where it can go. If we're going to trend up, this finally breaking out could give us some teeth. I'm going to take something out of PayPal too in this consolidation, just in case the market blows up here. So that was in PayPal, just to show you what I was thinking here. If we're going to hold that low on PayPal, then in this consolidation, I just took another leg out just in case the market does want to bounce here so that we have only a third left of PayPal. Did miss a potential breakout trade in Alphabet, but we'll see if it can go here. What else is making some moves here? What else do we got here? Not really anything else. Tesla's curling. Is it? Every time I look at Tesla, the range is exactly nothing. Like the 15.
Everything is doing that little whoosh up.
Yeah.
It's a matter of does it hold it? Like, do you think that holds 170? I mean, maybe that's something that you got to look at once it gets up to 170.
170 is a big level, yeah.
The market's putting us to a test here, but not really. Our TQ is just kind of chilling out there. I just want to say this right now. So I do this every day at this time about it's PayPal. Brand new 52-week lows today. PayPal 3M, we talked about that. A strange one to me is Southwest because Southwest is at 52-week lows, but not 52-week lows for Delta or American Airlines, and some of those names, of course, Southwest, primarily dealing domestically. So maybe there's
I
something
think, isn't it more the discounts thing?
something up with that. I mean,
no,
there must be something with
it's gotta be a
Southwest
regional
because
thing, maybe.
DAL as well. And again, some of you guys that are looking at some of the airline names would probably know a little bit better than that. But you know, Delta, like we're talking about 52-week lows, right? So you got to go all the way back here. This is 2022 so that's not 52-week lows right now because that's already passed. But right into there, and then this would be back into March, which we've already seen, $31. That would be more of a significant break on a name like a Delta, and then AAL as well is right here at 14. And that's not near, this chart's taking forever today, 14.50, so you're not near 52-week lows on AAL, but you are on Southwest. So that's something else if you're looking for that. We already know about Paramount, Danaher at 52-week lows, and then also is PNC Bank. So as some of the banks continue to make those lows. So you got a little bit of everything there. PayPal, FinTech, 3M, we sort of put that there. Newell, we talked about, someone put that in the chat, out to Anthony, I think, talked about that. Southwest in the travel, Paramount in streamers and in media, Danaher, of course, in the healthcare.
They're a healthcare conglomerate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best way to think about it. Not like a Pfizer or anything. They're more like a...
Pfizer 52-week low, I think yesterday or something like that. So Danaher, Pfizer both getting crushed.
My first dip buy on Pfizer, I think, is like $2 from here. Because once it broke 40, I'm legging into it. Oh, sorry, I was gonna shout out Comp SRX. That's why my chart's on FSLR, because he said, "Come on, FSLR, do the right thing, be a man." So therefore, for you, we want this stock to go to 234.50. That would be absolutely perfect. And if you don't know where that reference comes from, then look up Russell Peters. He's absolutely hilarious. The stock could make a move here. But speaking about Pfizer, this is one that I've been waiting for to break channel down. I own it from a while back, but load daily, patiently. So it broke that support. Again, I don't like catching a falling knife, but I thought the same thing with Airbnb, that once it broke down, I want to start legging into it. So a couple of bucks down is like 35. That's where I think I got my first bid. I'll double check it, but I'm just looking to start getting back into this name as it starts to break into the downside here, and just sort of legging back into Pfizer. But on the other end of the spectrum, that FSLR, that's definitely a strong one. I look at Tesla, and I'm like, it's not doing anything. I come back to it, and it's broken out. So there you go. All I have to do is say Tesla's boring, and then Tesla's going to make a move. So maybe we do see a test of 170. I think it has to get through 170. That's a big level, which when it tried to punch through the last time, it really rejected the 170. So if it gets through there, I think it's a much better move. Google's slowly barcoding to the upside. I like it. It's definitely making that move. It needs to get maybe 30 cents higher. I think what's going to happen is you're going to test that high at the same point that the NASDAQ gets to that key level, which is about 15 handles from now. We got the early look coming on the imbalances in a couple of minutes. I think that's going to give us a good idea of what power hour is going to look like. It's going to take us a lot. You know what? Actually, it's not true. I was about to say it will take a lot for us to get green, but that's really not true. The ES is 0.4 down. That is, that's okay. Google gets to the high and breaks a little bit. Tesla breaks 170. Apple and Meta continue to do what they were doing, and that's it. That's all it takes for us to get to 1%. Make back this almost 1% on the NASDAQ and 0.5% on the ES. So you don't want to give up on the longs just yet, but PayPal, I did get another leg out in here. I'm going to cancel this bid underneath because I already just took some out a little bit higher. If the market breaks out and this doesn't break, it might be an ad short, but I need to see what happens next. Like if we don't break up and the market breaks up, then I think PayPal could really be toast. I'm just not willing to make a decision on this either way until we break out of this range one way or the other.
I mean, it's 3:30. Like we're getting pretty close to having to make a move if the market's going to do something.
Running out of time here.
Because those imbalances are going to come out and affect sort of the direction there. Tesla did go up to 169 and fell off of that a little bit. I do see what everyone's talking about there in the chat. The problem is that I'm already sort of baked in here a little bit with the TQs and the NASDAQ. So I'm already short the market. I do expect there to be a flush. If I'm looking, expect it, maybe biased because of the position that I have, but if you're looking at this right here, this is the afternoon so far. So sure, we've been doing pretty good on all these shorts, and thank God we had that short for sure, because otherwise, like if I don't have those two, then it's just flat right here. But we're making good money on it, so we'll just, our last reload is right here at 44. We waited actually at 50. It got up to 48s. Or 49s, I guess, on the ask, but didn't go through. So we'll have to wait. That's my next position. And then I was just looking at this, basically where we got short. If we break above that 56, that sort of goes into that where we went back in and then it dipped down. So not really any line specific. I'm just sort of waiting to see if it wants to break higher. Then let's break higher. And if not, hopefully we'll fall back in and we'll be able to get something out in here. Because it's only 10 cents worth of risk on this, because we're short right now at 44, 45, we're going to get out at 56. I am going to take something out if it comes back to the 200 period, which is the same risk to reward 1-to-1. Just right now, oh, are we going to get it? We should get a 50. Boo. There we go, we got a 50. So now we're going to have to wait to see what happens now on the TQs, as it looks like it's getting excited back up to the upside. So
if you wanted to get baked
the wins may win.
If you wanted to get baked in, you needed a 42 price. Like it
Oh,
been,
well, my average is now 46.
well, I was gonna say, because I was about to say, I'm like, you got 44. If you hit the 40 bid as it went down, you'd have a 42, and then you'd really be baked in. But of course,
NASDAQ,
the market.
Yeah, Tesla's going back up there.
Yeah. So okay. So channel broke to the upside. So I'm gonna do this. Take a little bit more out of PayPal because we broke the channel up. And then if we roll back over at 61.80, I can try to get back into the trend. Just relieve a little bit of pressure on that name, Google. Really, the market makes another push. The market makes a push higher and Alphabet pulls back. Like, really, seriously, this stock, it kind of sucks right now. It really does. What else is there that's actually moving? Maybe I should have just gone to Tesla.
I mean, Tesla's 169 is a good break. I don't.
Like, I'm watching the market get back up to the highs and Amazon's pulling back in. Like, am I buying the dip in the stock that's not going with the market, or do you take a breakout? I don't know. I don't know if I. Like 330 breakout. We got a 500 million sell imbalance that just came out there. Yeah, to me, if you're ho-humming on it, it's like you don't do it. So I'm not going to pull the trigger on a breakout trade. I'd much rather be doing a consolidation. Jason's saying Peloton short in front of 7 for a quick scalp.
The volume is just so light.
On so many names, that's the problem. Like if you're shorting, oh, but this is bouncing. Okay, I kind of thought this might have been in the other direction. Yeah, I wouldn't want to short this right now because it wiped out in the morning and has been gliding higher, and Peloton has a decent enough short interest. It's making a bounce off of, like, how many stocks have we seen that had the same triple bottom on the daily? Like a beaten up name, it made bottoms in October, and then you're bouncing off the October lows right now. So this is bouncing off October lows, channeling for a breakout. I don't want to short this in front of $7. Not when it has, I think it's like 12% short interest. Like you could see some shorts covering going into the end of the day. It's Friday. I wouldn't be fighting this one, so I'd stay away from Peloton here at that 7. But that's just, no, I wouldn't take that short.
Covering's happening in the market right now.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the exact kind of name that you'd see short covering on, which has been beaten up, bouncing off the lows. Take some of the win in case it gaps up over the weekend. I mean, if you've been short this name for weeks and months, you're not in any trouble. I'm more talking about the people that shorted this last move in this week. If you shorted it this week, I could see you taking some profit.
I feel like the market's just covering right now because the market didn't go down. It's sort of bounced off that 13.3, and I could just see a cover here into the close of the day. It looks like we are going to. I mean, we're minutes. Here we go. Ooh. Oh, what? Okay, there it is. We just did get stopped out as we went up to go long. That's too bad. We'll flush ourselves on the toilet. We were holding that market move. It doesn't look like it did much there for the TQQs. So, again, tried it. Still positive on the name, but gave it back right there. The market just went up and touched that little level. It's probably going to fall now because we got stopped out, but to me, that was worth the risk. Some short covering here into the end of the day. And there we go. Yeah, what's up, Adam? Yeah, there we go. So Adam's covering as well in the chat. And I just think that is probably what it's all about, man. Shorts that have been holding from the morning maybe, just like we covered on Amazon. The market bounced off that 13.3 down there. This is the TQs, but the 13.3 down here on the NASDAQ right there. It held a couple times. And now actually pretty nice move to the long. Right there, and we were, of course, shorting the TQQ. So still positive name, but definitely gave some back, obviously, as we take a 10-cent, 12-cent hit there on the TQQ. What's up, Brendan?
Just noting a little bit of a move, not huge, but a little bit of a move here, guys, for Rivian. They were tweeting about the delivery time now for the R1T. So you can now apparently, depending on where you are, get an R1T, which is the pickup truck, in 14 days or less for Rivian. So you can see there was some volume coming in there upside.
Sounds a little bit.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get anything that fast these days. Hey, that's okay.
You can't get a dishwasher that fast. Rivian.
No, you literally can't get anything that fast these days. But all that said, Rivian isn't having a fantastic. Not much of a decent volume spike just now, but the trend has been pretty unbroken on Rivian the last 3 days. So you basically were making a bounce. You got to the first level of resistance, the April high, and abjectly rejected it. And now you're back below the 50 period, probably headed for a test of the April low here, which is at like 11 and change. So I'm thinking trend down. I don't think I'll change my mind. The only problem is you're so far away from the 50 period, that 14 level, that you have to reestablish somewhere else for another short. On the other end of the coin, you know what? We haven't talked about Lucid all week.
And they did report.
Well, was it last week? I thought they were last week.
I'm not sure.
No, it was
Rivian, Lucid, Fisker. They were all back to back to back.
But another name here, and there's so many names that have done this. That said, if you go back and we go to the daily chart here, this is rejecting the 50 and riding it, but this hasn't broken the bottom yet. It hasn't even broken the higher low. The bottom's all the way at $6. This hasn't even broken the higher low. So this is channeling and tunneling down for maybe another defense of $6 or a flat bottom break at $6. Either way, you're now within spitting distance of another significant low. You play them in either direction, man. The bounces off of them, like when Beyond Meat broke the low, was a great short. When it recovered from that bottom today, it was a good long. I know because I was trapped at the bottom, and that didn't work out, obviously, for me. But when these get to these levels, you want to have an alert set out for it just in case. Google's trying to get back up to that high. I'm shooting 117.6 here. I want that out. It didn't quite get to VWAP there for the last bounce, but this could be worth it as we go into the end of the day. Maybe just go back into scalp mode here and just say, okay, well, there's nothing else to do. We'll go for the dip buy, play inside till VWAP, and then work that same range. I thought maybe you were breaking out and we could stair step it to the upside. But yeah, it feels like we're just going off 117 at this point on Google. I'm playing Google and PayPal. This is holding up in terms of the short. I did get some out here, but not much of a bounce relative to the market in PayPal. I'd like to hold this to 350 just to see if it gets back to the bottom.
110. I feel like we're going to go back to the name that we're up the most here today for myself on Amazon, and we'll just go back to it. It's bounced off of. We got out at 80 there. It's bounced off of 110 a couple times. Normally once I get out, I sort of reverse into a position, but this is just like what you're saying about PayPal there and some of these names that are relatively weak. They seem to be fighting this market move up. So instead of just saying, all right, let's. Again, we're still, you could short the NASDAQ again, it's still at that spot that we just got stopped out on, and there's actually a little tall wick right there on the NASDAQ. So I'm wondering if the short may still be good, but right there, that's 110.05, whatever. So hopefully, Amazon will still respect that, and we'll try to go short again into this. Well, we are short, but into that name, and we'll take something around that 110 if it gets back up there a little bit, and then put on a position and see if it does hold those 110 areas or area of which used to be support. Hopefully that could be resistance, which it's been. It was resistant right there, and then just now on that NASDAQ move up, we also resisted it one more time. So far so good. If you've been holding the short all day on Amazon, we had that banger off the open, and then since then left it alone. We got out, and now that it's barcoding a little bit, the only problem is that you do have those imbalances coming out, and they're coming out pretty quickly here at 350. Brendan's already given us that it's 497 million to sell. So there we go. A little bit of a move down. We'll see if we can cover something around 72, 73. That'll give us at least a 1-to-1, and then we'll work off of that after. So far so good here on a quick short. All the trades have been good if you've scalped them. Neil's got
pretty much. It's
there it
only
goes.
scalp trades.
Oh, Amazon just filled us at 75, so that was okay. So there's a quick little dime on that. Good. All right. So make it a little bit back there on Amazon. Just stick with some of these names that continue to be pretty weak. That last level is 60, so I don't know if we get that far. Let's put another bid in low 70s, and then we'll work off that, and then put something at like 62, and we'll work off that. So right there, hopefully Amazon can continue the downside. New position, the only one we're going to be carrying here into the close. Amazon short, as the market just a little jittery right now.
Yeah, jittery is definitely the word. Like, we got right to that resistance point. You're still trying to go up. I mean, obviously it's on my 15-minute, you're still green, but you're pretty much at the decision point. You're not really breaking away. You just went the top. You get back underneath. I'm looking for a place on a potential curl here. So if we do curl in the markets, I'm going to like the re-entry on PayPal just because that's what I'm working with. But I wanted to point out, because someone said Roku got Roku today. It's not the only one. But there is a flat bottom break set up for next week if it were to take out 52. It's not a clean line, but it's like a general area of support. Like, one of the things is you had strength off of this 52 area when it had a report and got into 75, and now you could take that out next week in the midst of a downtrend. That's one of those levels, if it goes, typically want to be looking for the short, and I'm always willing to risk it for like probably 2 days. So like, it breaks 52 the first day, I take it. If it's still testing it the second day, I'd go for it. If the third day it's holding that level, I would give up. But a lot of times you break that, you're getting to 50 easy, and then if 50 goes, you're already in. And then it just sort of rolls to the downside for that entire day. I like those flat bottom breaks. I think you're getting a chance at one of those. So here comes PayPal. I think it's making a little bit of a bounce. I want to try and play it off this lower high. So I'll give it a few more seconds to get above and a little bit closer to 61.60, and then I can play a reload here. The futures are testing that level, so this is a point at which you test some of these highs. If we hold above, great, but if it turns, this is a weak name, and I'd rather short a weak name. Tesla, if you're still tracking Tesla, didn't even get to 170. It's back at 168 even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, now I got this wick here, but like it was trying to go. You saw it was kind of strong for a minute there, and it tried to go. Apologize for that wick, but yeah, right back into 168. It just, any bounce just keeps getting sold off in this name. You could almost just be shorting every pop in Tesla if you liked it. Wish I had, but we didn't.
Last Friday, Adam, I was invited to sort of a pre-launch of Taco Fest over there at Hotel X, and man, they had some good tequilas there. So you're asking about, tequila's not my favorite. I don't really have a favorite. Honestly, I don't really have a favorite drink, to be honest with you. I don't drink too much. Love a good glass of wine, especially if you're sitting back on the patio or something, and then that's when you get a nice, cool, refreshing beer of some sort. I prefer lagers, but yeah, nothing really. Heineken, like Heineken, a few different other things there, but I'm pretty easy on the drink side of things.
No go-to beer? No?
Not really. No, I know everyone knows yours is Innocent Gun, of course, because you got to keep it real, right? But after that, I don't.
Well, what's our buddy Levine used to
I could say
like,
Peroni because it's Italian, but yeah,
that's a good beer.
So, yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. I like them all, but yeah, let's everyone put your favorite drink in the chat here, and we can see maybe I'll get some motivation here today, as tomorrow we'll be drinking something, that's for sure, and tonight I'm going to be at the ballpark,
Rum and Red Bull?
then we'll see. No Red Bulls, that's for sure.
The Beanie Man song.
Yeah,
that's
some rum and Red Bull.
Hennessy,
Bud Light, someone just said, yeah. Yeah, you know what?
No, sorry.
Vodka soda or vodka. I prefer vodka soda rather than vodka tonic.
I'll go G&T.
Long Island iced tea, yeah, gin and tonic.
That over vodka tonic for me.
Yeah, gin and tonic. I like that little
time.
taste there. What the hell's a blind pirate? Okay, that's pretty
Sounds
cool.
good to me.
It sure does, man. Pig's blood. Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm drinking
Stankonia
today.
Innocent Gun rum cask. That's what I love.
Everyone, I'm just trying to read this. Yeah, I only drink Malibu rum. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
Kraken's good.
India's, yeah.
Zaccapa's a good rum if you never had that.
There's so many, man. Yeah, Bombay Sapphire orange juice. Ooh, that's not bad. Yeah. 1800 silver tequila. No, that would be a little too hard.
Little Ray and nephew every now and then.
Right there, as we double check what everyone is saying. Meanwhile, we did get a 70 bid there. I'm just trying to get some motivations for tonight. Right now, maybe I'll have a drink when I get home. Google's flying. Yeah,
it's now at the high, so this is pretty.
Oh, Red Stripe is really good for sure. What's up, Rendo?
You just reminded me of Red Stripe. Elon tweeting about this change coming to Twitter. Just saying, obviously, bringing on Linda allows me to devote more time to Tesla, which is exactly what I will be doing. So one last attempt here to save the day, I guess, from Elon on Tesla.
He does see the stock price. I don't know, but either way, the market was exuberant early on and not so much anymore with that. I'm now trailing Google here off the high of the day. There's 5 minutes until the imbalances come. That's the other thing. You're at the highs. Either it breaks out or it retraces and probably gets all the way back to VWAP. I don't see an inside way here. So we'll see what happens with it. But it has been a good run. It finally is making a move. PayPal, I think I got to give up the notion of reloading this short. It's good because it's not moving up. But if the market doesn't break down, it's probably not going to be really good, and that's just unfortunate there. We'll see what happens with it. I love all the ideas that are coming through here. Is but a good short? Someone just said. You know what? I didn't even look at that stock, quite frankly. I know it's been getting beaten up a little bit, but quite frankly, it hasn't moved enough. Like if a stock is volatile, I don't care what the reason is, it can make for a good trade. But I just haven't seen any real volatility that's worth it for a day trader. I was checking out Coinbase on that bounce.
Yeah.
So you saw, by the way, we just reclaimed 26,000 on Bitcoin. So it wicked the bottom, got 25.8. Now you're back almost testing 26.2. So that's a decent bounce that may be helping us out here. Even Coinbase catching a legitimate bid. I don't know if it's enough for it to run back in and jump into a long up here. But if you are in the long, there's a few signs out there that we could be getting back toward the top. The SPY, if your bet was green, for the because it was it was the SPY, not the NASDAQ, that I'm pretty sure was the bet today. We're 0.29, so it's definitely a possibility
yes.
with 15 minutes to go in the day. At this point, we'll ride with what we have. I'm not going to be adding to PayPal, I don't think, not with the market charging the way it is right now.
I was going to get into Tesla, but it's not really moving. It doesn't seem to be like that tweet yesterday that really sparked everything for sure on Tesla. And you could just see, if you want to come over to the screen here, you'll see Tesla. It actually made a bottom of, I don't know if people thought that it was going to be a negative tweet or something, but there's a nice little, pretty strong wick down to 167.60 right there on Tesla. So
well, that didn't take long.
That was a good move down. What, Google broke the high there? I mean, the market
We can't have nice things. You still short?
I like nice things. I almost got, it doesn't matter though, because I didn't get reloaded. I tried. I'm at 98. Can you believe that on Amazon? It went to 95. I guess that's not close enough. I was at 98 there before this move just happened to the downside again. But what I was talking about there, Palantir was a bad trade at $10 today. That's at 950. We were short Roblox. Yeah, of course, Roblox, as if. We were short right here. Good trade. We're up on the name, but we got taken out at 40, and then boom, 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 downside move for that.
You got the price right, though.
Frustrated. Well, you got a couple things that are right, but
because that happened to me on PACW. It's like if you when you get out, and then the next lower high is the same place you liked it before. But it's just a matter of making sure you're on that stock to get back in. It is what it is. It means your price was the right action. It was the exact place that you wanted to short, which matters. I was just pissed off at Google because Google tagged the high and instantly trailed me out. It got there and then instant trail out, and it already pulled back for 35 pennies here. So the market doesn't want it today, not to the upside anyways. We just finished saying the ES had a chance, and that's where the turn is.
I still think
that's the kind of day it is. I thought we were going to maybe take a chance at breaking that top. It's not over yet, but that wick out just happened. A lot of names are kind of trying to go and not really making that move. Tesla's back underneath 168. Even Apple, Apple just, never mind. Okay. Oh, never mind. I moved that chart to something else. Okay. Apple's still strong. I'm zooming way in so I can get rid of this wick. So you can see all the green on Apple's. Now I'm going way further in there. It's all green Apple at VWAP here. This is now a full dollar. That was my frustration with Google. Was the fact that it finally made the move to the high of the day, but the whole while Apple had been the stronger of these names, dragging the market up with it. So this is worth watching going into the close. In the last 10 minutes, I have some PayPal on, but my eyes will be on Apple just in case it wants to continue that trend now that it got to VWAP.
Yeah, apparently also confirming Elon Musk is confirming he is not stepping down as the CEO of Tesla.
There was some weird rumor.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah, there was some random saying some,
okay.
throwing some rumors.
I was like,
out
why
there
would he
that
even
maybe-
say that? But if there was a random
we know he's
rumor,
not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So
Not now, anyways. But
1 minute to the imbalances right now, and what the market imbalances are going to do is probably move the market a little bit more than it's been moving lately. But oh, that's still Roblox there. We can watch Amazon. It's what I'm in right here. We're going to try to go short again up near that 110, then get out just a little bit north of 110.05. That's where that top tick was right there, and that could have. I mean, it really sucks to be into something and then have to watch it through the imbalances because that will start to go back up to the upside. Maybe we could cancel. Let's actually, you know what? We're not taking on too much risk here at 98. So we'll see what happens. You know what? All right, yeah, that's actually a good idea. I'm going to cancel everything right now because I don't want, whoopsies. We'll get out of a little bit if it takes that 110 right now. Just got to make sure I get this in there because it is 110, right? I don't want to put the wrong price. You know, if it does go back up, we do want to be able to get out because these imbalances could spark anything in just about 10 seconds. So could be upside, downside, and then we'll figure it out after that. So we're going to get out of 2/3 if we take that 110.10 area because we can't control what's going to happen with the imbalances. And here we go right now. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's much of anything. I don't know if the NASDAQ ones are out yet. I don't feel like they are. Come on, imbalances. And there we go. So there it goes. Updated Google sell. So that was probably a good out there depending on what Google's doing. There's what it's doing right now. Kind of not doing anything. Intel with a sell. I don't see Amazon, NVIDIA for sure right there. But there we go. Yeah, okay, so upside for Amazon, I don't see it on here, but it did take 110. So we're not out yet, but there's the move up for Amazon. Let's just see what happens. Do we have a number? Oh, Brendan's give it 390 to sell. So 390 to sell right now on Amazon.
And Pabst Blue Ribbon with a 400,000 sell imbalance. No, it's not. It's PBR. That's dual listed actually with the U.S. I mean, I saw GM there, but GM is one of these names that when you see a milli on that, it's going to pair off. Sometimes it's worth a look just to see if anything's happening on. I'm only in the one position, so it's not really going to matter. I'm not likely to trade it, so nothing really happened on that imbalance.
No.
Slight volume spike, but it didn't actually move the stock, like 5 cents. Intel, that always pairs off there. So I don't think there's anything really to watch specifically on those imbalances. Uber's not nothing, but it's not a number that overwhelms anything here. Let's just double check it. We have a sell imbalance, 750,000. It didn't really react. Slight wick to the downside, not really going. Sometimes if you had a sell imbalance and it was driving down to the low of the day, like what I would look for, and sometimes this works, if you have a really defined top or bottom, so there's a defined 38.20 bottom, and it was a sell imbalance, then you look for it to drift to that level, go long in front of 55, and then if it pairs off the sell imbalance, it might spike to the upside. Then you have a tight 2 or 3 cent worth risk. You get that 10 to 15 cent move back, and you do it in either direction. I've seen that work every now and then, but obviously it's not really moving here on Uber.
All right, Amazon obviously taken out of that right now. We're just back in to see what happens at this 110.15 area. But I want to look at those imbalances one more time for everybody because I know that there's some interest in them. GM, GM, we can have a quick look here. Just because we're watching this market right now, ticking up. If we get green, man, everyone that bet green is going to win on that. Nice little movement off the open, off the close here. 13,300. Definitely held, 13,300 held. So good to note for Monday. We'll see where we open up on Monday, but 13,300 right now holding for the NASDAQ. Amazon out will be 110.15, right where we sort of took that last little piece to the upside. As it looks like it still wants to go up on Amazon. Intel, what else do we have on there? Google, we already talked about that. Cisco, nah. Unfortunately, I don't even really see, Uber. Yeah, so although Lyft was getting taken down today, Uber still remaining pretty nice, up to 38 and change. Too bad the daily chart's not loading, but I don't know why that's not loading. But Uber, good couple days for them. As you can see here on the 5-minute chart, oh wow, we got up to 39 today and faded back out. But good report for Uber. They have a nice level at $30 flat on the daily. It's too bad my daily wasn't loaded, but there it is, straight to the upside there. There's their report.
I got it, if you want.
And since then, it's been a couple good days for Uber, bouncing off maybe 30. So there's 39 top. So again, if it's a bad day on Monday, we may have to look at Uber bouncing off of its top of $39. So that could be another play there. Missed opportunities as everybody's excited here, getting ready for the weekend.
Actually, you know what? This chart looks pretty good. The weekly on Uber is still pretty solidly bullish, making the higher lows, higher highs all the way through, recovering the major moving averages. You could almost say there's room to 48 in some ways, but that's on the higher, longer term. Very good level, that 30. This is what Sean was talking about on the daily chart. That's at 30 level on Uber, and now you're making a bit of a consolidation to the upside. I am likely about to get stopped out on PayPal. I took one quick little scalp trade in the bottom end of the range here, 58s. Tried to pull back in. Now it looks like it could break out. Might have got out of Alphabet too soon, but there's 5 minutes to go in the day. It's going to be hard. I'll zoom out. So I put the trailing stop in case it broke, and this is where I got out. If I did exactly the same thing, I'd likely be getting trailed out here anyways because it cannot seem to take out the high of the day. So we'll look at this one for relative strength next week because it's been relatively strong this week. I just got stopped out of PayPal, so that's the last trade of the day for me likely. Yeah, nothing else working out here except for the fact that if you're happy, if you bet long side, the SPY is actually charging to said upside. Right now we are 0.15.
Wow.
And charging toward the close. 4 minutes to go. It could happen. As a matter of fact, I think it's a good idea. We knocked the bulls over. They're gone.
They're gone.
But they didn't fall asleep though. They're coming back to life here.
They
We have a chance to go green on the, on the ES, the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's not going to get there despite this move, but the ES at least could have a shot at it.
It's funny that Google wants to take out close to 118 here at the close, waiting for that all day, and then finally this huge move up in the market. Really huge, actually. You might not think about it, but it's just been going up all afternoon. So the one trade that we had was TQQs, and that was not a good short. We talked about buying some Microsoft off some of those bottoms at 307. That's crazy that wasn't done. There's 307 right there. Wow, straight to 309 and still marching. So good job there for Microsoft off those bottoms. Just respect some of those, right? But I don't know. I felt like it was hard to sit there and take longs today, especially into a Friday where I don't expect people to be holding on to anything. Brendan said that the NASDAQ gave everything back all week, and it did. But now it's going to be back to green on the week for the NASDAQ and the ES and everything. So we'll see if it gets to positive or not. I'd like to fade some of these moves right now, but we don't have much time left, only 3 minutes. So, yeah, go Leafs, go. It should be a great one there. Yeah, your Canes get a little rest right now, and I hope the Leafs go to 7 as well, my friend Dan McIsaac. And we hope that we can visit and see you soon in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Hopefully the Maple Leafs can get there. Hard road in front of us, though. We got to win 3 in a row.
Yeah,
it's only happened 4 times in the history of the NHL.
But the Leafs are one of the teams that did it.
Yeah, back in 1917 or something like that.
It was like 1960 something.
Yeah, I know. The NHL is only 75 years old. But
no, but it is crazy. It's been a while. Look, if we do pull it off, though,
we will.
You know what the city will be like on Game 7 if we get there and they pull it off. It'll be nuts here in Toronto. Nuts.
They released a couple tickets for tonight. It's $425 to sit up top, basically the last kind of rows in the top. They're there's only 19 rows all the way to the top, and that was row 13 or something that I saw. So that's $1,000 for the pair there, and they're doing that. So I actually respect
Toronto,
what the Leafs are doing now because they're leaving some tickets for same-day sales, at least, because they get sold out right away. Oh, you will fly up. Okay, Dan. Yeah, well, then you can come visit us. So I do now hope that it is Leafs Canes. Obviously,
Dan McIsaac's going to fly up for Leafs Canes?
Yep, he is.
Let's get the brews.
There we go. I just paid $750 a ticket for Green Bay at the Chicago Bears. Yeah, so shout out to you right there, Bark Dull, $750 per ticket. Seems like a lot. Right there. Is that a Monday night game, maybe? I don't know, man.
Schedule's out.
Yeah, schedule's out yesterday. So, yeah, shout out to that. I may go to Green Bay this year as well, just to take the wife, see a game there. She's never been to Lambeau. I've been there twice, so we'll see that. Hoo-day, yeah, that's right. So shout out to everybody that's excited for today. And
We day go beat them Bengals. That's who.
Yeah, Bengals. Joe Burrow. We'll see if they get back to the game this
Bills,
year. The
baby.
dance.
Bills.
The dance.
Bills. Sorry, year.
Bills.
We got Von Miller's going to come back, and then it's going to be us. We got 1 minute to go, and then it is weekend time. Beers, patio, hockey, whatever you're into. It'll be a fun one. The market does want to get there. One last push. I'm telling you, like you're 0.15 on the ES. It's close, but it might run out of time.
How do I bet red? How do I bet red?
I know. I think they must have closed the bet by now. That would make some sense here. Not sure who's going to be on the bell. Because Katrina's gone.
Who wants to be on the bell? Go.
Done.
What was your name? Yannick is on the bell in just 30 seconds.
Where's the mallet?
There
Get
you go.
this
Grab
man
the
a
mallet, grab the mallet. Here we go. With only 30 seconds, it's Yannick just starting with us. Everyone's excited for Yannick here on the bell. And, you know, we just started a new class, so
Yes.
we'll switch this up. Katrina's gone, and thank you, everybody, for watching today. What a good show, and it's about to get even better.
It is.
And, you know, I wear my sunglasses at night, and so does Yannick in the day. So
Indoors.
Here we go. With only 10 seconds left. Yeah, you don't. There's a camera there.
There's a
You
camera
can see
somewhere.
the screen. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wow, that was a professional bell if I've ever seen one before. Yannick, you have a job any day around here now with that, but focus on your main job, of course, of trading.
Exactly.
And we'll get there. So thank you, Yannick, for doing that.
Oh, he's got a bite of something that looks good.
Yeah, he's got some food over there as well.
I'm always thinking food,
And
so
he
that's
sits
how
beside Kat, so that's a good one there.
Got
All
to.
right, good bell, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of people that are in that bet would know where the NASDAQ and the ES finish.
Oh, yeah.
So let's not spoil it. Let's see if people that bet positive, Brendan, on the ES, are they winners?
Denied. No. Negative 0.15 there for the ES when all is said and done. 0.19 for the Dow, the NASDAQ about 0.4. Just double checking though, we did actually get back to positive for the week, however, for the NASDAQ. About 0.6, guys, so chalk up a win there.
Innings abound. There you go. So we're positive on the week.
Like Disney closes where, like Disney's $92. So like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right
so
back where we
frustrating there,
started.
right where we started. Tesla as well. Let me check out where Tesla got near the
68.
end. Okay, 168, so never even got to that 170. That should be another interesting name for us on Friday. I wrote down Tesla long. That was wrong today. Google long was right. AMD short, Disney short. So we'll go 3 for 4 on the ideas. We just got to get the right levels and then watch out for them as well. So
G6. Look at this stock. This is the one. This is the one today. This is the one. GSIT or whatever the hell this stock is. I don't even know what they do. But it goes. This is actually up. So congratulations if you got this.
Congratulations!
This was where it's at. Because I know people were watching this off of VWAP, and it makes a late day break. So hopefully somebody in here is long this stock, because if you're long the market, it wasn't a good day today.
you're getting a little G unit on everybody right there.
Gotta try
so shout out to
something with
50
it.
Cent and everybody.
Fitty.
Okay, it's 4:02, man. I want to give a big thank you and a big, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for us. Big shout out to the production team once again today. Brendo, thanks a lot. Brendan's been super busy helping out with a lot of interviews as you and I are on the show. And Brendan's been doing a lot in the back, and it's been a really, really fun ride for everybody here today once again. Thanks to Sharif and Max on the midday show. That was really important. So, yeah, hey, have a great weekend. I know you're going to go to a couple Jays games. That should be a lot of fun. It's definitely one of those patio type of days around here, and it should be that on the weekend. Enjoy it with everybody. Brendan, the one question that we didn't get from you was your favorite drink, and people asked about it in the chat, so why don't you drop it on them?
John, you know, come on. Guinness, guys, it's Guinness.
I didn't know if you would have. I didn't know if you would have changed it because this patio talk, but you're
Never.
still a Guinness guy on a patio.
All day,
Doesn't
every day.
matter.
Always
Right, all day,
Guinness.
every day. So there you go.
It's
So
also,
that's-
guys, we
It's
should
easy
mention.
to order for him, though.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Mother's Day on Sunday, no?
It is Mother's
Yeah.
Day on Sunday.
Happy Mom's Day on Sunday.
There we go.
We're gonna end
John,
it
you
that
did not
way.
forget that, by the way.
No, he didn't.
No. Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you're watching this, my mother or my wife, of course, I messaged Brendan about a minute ago and said, make sure you do that because I didn't want to do it. You know, I always no, but yeah, thank you for that, Brendan. Whoa, that was quick, right there. I talked about it earlier that I was doing a whole bunch of stuff and then we're going to brunch. But yeah, spend
high
time
tea.
with loved ones this weekend. Shout out to all the mothers out there, of course. And that brings me back to some skits on Saturday Night Live. where they had mother lovers. Have you ever seen that? That was a great, great skit. Not appropriate for Mother's Day, I don't think, but shout out to everybody out there. Have a good one. No Saturday Night Live as there's a writer's strike right now as well, but have a good one. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some more winners. It was a tough one this week, I feel like, but we're back next week. Ciao to everybody. Happy Mother's Day.